Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Trey Marquise, and I am the four-time FTW World Champion from the greatest prediction league of all time. And I need you to tune in to the Reigning Rock Podcast with its star, the impeccable, untouchable, British Jim himself, Ricky Goldman.
And that is right, people, on a very hot, very hot, warm day here in the UK. It is that time again. You grab yourself a drink, because it is, sorry, I always get these wrong, I am excellence personified. I am Ricky Goldman. This, of course, is the Reigning Rock Podcast. Do get this liked and shared as always. And we are kicking things off tonight with an interview. So let me bring in the man himself, the man of the hour, former Bleacher reporter writer, current Geek Vibe Nation writer, four-time FTW, not the crappy AEW FTW, nobody wants that. Four-time FTW prediction champion, the man himself. He is here. He is Trey J Styles, or Byron. And how are you?
I'm fantastic, man. Thank you for having me. I always like coming to your show because you always know how to give me the best entrances.
Yes, and did you like my interview? A bit of nobody wants that crappy FTW title in AEW.
Yeah, we don't even know. Why is Jericho still wrestling, right?
No one wants that. So let me bring him out. So it's another week of co-guest host. So I'll bring him in first, actually. And he is the money man. He is Marcus.
Bling, bling, ching, ching. It's always money over here, baby.
I love it. Love to hear that.
And how are you today?
You know, had a great day. Just played some basketball, won 2 out of 3 games. Not a bad day.
Very quickly, how is the weather there? Is it nice there?
It's nice and humid, as it always is in Philly.
Very, very quickly, I'm a typical English person in that if it's too cold, it's too cold. When it's too warm, it's too warm. We're never happy. Ever. We're never happy. But then again, we're not used to this very, very warm weather we're having. And let's bring in the man himself. He holds 2 titles. He is, I'm going to say, Marcus's tag team partner, frat brother. The show won't be the same without him. It is TJ.
What's up, everyone? Hey, Marcus.
Wow. Wow.
And
TJ.
How are you, TJ?
What's up, everyone? What's up, Trey J Styles, Ricky Goldman, excellent. Thank you for acknowledging the wrestling blurred.
Oh yes, the wrestling blurred. Sorry, I forgot to say that name. I apologize.
I have all the answers inside the ring and outside the ring.
I did forget your nickname. I apologize right now. Please don't rock bottom me. Anyway, yes, the man. So I'll put up the link to your Geek Vibe Nation, I'll put that up throughout, and then we'll discuss FTW a little bit later on. I haven't deleted it. No, I haven't. No. Give me 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Okay, so that's your articles for Geek Vibe Nation. So feel free, Marcus and TJ, to ask questions, but I'll kick off by saying, Byron, how did you get into writing? So first of all, how did you get into writing, and was it wrestling or was it something else?
Well, I started writing a long time ago. It's like kind of one of those things where you're getting creative and you have like 12 unfinished books. But I got to college and I kind of joined into a lot of the literary clubs, became president of the literary clubs, put on a lot of events. And, it got to a point where as the more that I was doing on the organizing side, the less I was doing on the writing side. I also, not saying that this is 100% legal, but there may have been some academic papers that may have been ghostwritten by me. But, but little by little, it's just, you start off with poetry, you do songwriting for some local artists and things of that nature. And you just, you keep expanding your network. And eventually you come across places like Bleacher Report. And Bleacher Report was looking for wrestling writers, but they were tired of the wrestling writers that would write a paragraph and call that an article. And it was more so they were doing so much quantity, but no real quality. So I started writing articles about other aspects. Like I started writing about Dave Sahidi. If you guys know who Dave Sahidi is the guy who put together a lot of the video packages. Like if you remember Rock versus Stone Cold, the My Way video, most of us remember that one. That was Dave.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it all stand out. This time I'm gonna stand up and shout. I'm gonna do things my way. It's my way, my way or the highway.
And that's those things. And those are the those were the aspects of wrestling that I like to highlight. I like to highlight the R-Truth and John Cena feud and why it was so interesting. And then I sometimes nowadays I've actually been able to tie things back to it and be like, you remember that feud going back to Capital Punishment and how CM Punk was even involved in that. And you look at it now and it's like, you see how R-Truth's character is kind of taking aspects of that. And so I try to approach things from a thought process maybe different than everybody else. Like one of my recent articles was talking about SummerSlam and how Roman might not be the right guy to come avenge Paul Heyman. It might be for good reason. It might be a good reason for Brock to be the one to avenge Paul Heyman, given their history. So, just kind of taking these alternative approaches. Don't get me wrong. I know I would love to see Roman too. And I know that's one of your that's one of your big wishes. I saw pennies. I saw British pounds in the fountain outside of your house to make sure. but you're taking these alternative leaps sometimes, and in a lot of cases they've paid off because people, I've developed a following. Geek Vibes Nation is nowhere near as well known as Bleacher Report, but I have so much more freedom there. I'm pretty much the main wrestling writer there. I'm and the benefits there are really good. Like Bleacher Report pays and Geek Vibe Nation doesn't pay as much, but I'm also not under a lot of stress to keep putting out content and such. So a lot of
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I interrupted you there. Sorry, apologize.
No, you're good.
Do you, and I don't know if Marcus has got a question or TJ, I'll get to him. Okay, Marcus, I'll ask another question and I'll go to Marcus and TJ. So do you write an article and just send it and that's it? Or do you have to proofread it and make sure it all makes sense and coherent, and it's not just kind of being a mark, it actually makes sense and it grabs headlines and all of that? Do you have to do all of that, or is it just type it, send it?
No, it's a lot more. I'll definitely say this. Since I was doing Bleacher Report, it's a lot more complicated now. There are things like SEOs, how they come up in search engines. You need this image, but it has to be an image it doesn't belong to anyone else. And it has to be a certain size so that the search traffic will pick up. You got to have certain keywords. You got to make sure those keywords appear in things. There's so many things that I didn't realize, I'm really good about proofreading my own stuff just because I'm a very academically minded person. And I always feel like if I make grammatical errors, my mom is going to yell at me. But I do think that like nowadays, when you think about the algorithms of things, it's not just, and social media is different too, because, when I post something now, it's like I'll post it and yeah, it'll get picked up by Google. But now I got to make sure it's on Threads. I got to make sure it's on Instagram. I got to make sure it's on Twitter. I got to put it out on different sites and different groups in Facebook. And so that is a big difference between then and now. And to be fair, sometimes it's a little bit daunting because it's just so much that goes into it. Because I never knew about readability statistics. You want to make sure it has subheadings, and you don't want to make your paragraphs too long. You don't want to make your sentences too long. You don't want to use passive voice, which is something that I like. I actually learned about not using passive voice when I was in college. And so I teach, when I teach my students now, I'm like, don't write this in passive voice because, nobody wants to hear it in passive voice. You want to hear active, active, active. So there are just all these different things that, and of course, I don't know if you guys have ever used the term inclusive language, but that is a common thing for us when I write. Like, the Lion things, they're like, oh, this language might be problematic. And I'm like, what? So those things are, they play a big role in it as well.
Marcus seems to know what inclusive language is, but I don't. So what is it?
So inclusive language is pretty much you got to make sure that you're not offending certain groups of people. You can tell me if I'm wrong. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but it's about inclusivity, not offending those that might be offended. Right.
And that's one of the things that, growing up, being offensive was what got you the attention. And now it's like, now you get that attention and you're going to get it for the wrong reasons. And so, when it comes to inclusive language, it's like, you don't want to alienate anybody who may be a potential reader because there's so much competition in the space now.
Who's going to get offended by reading a wrestling report?
It could be anybody.
It could be anybody. There are people. We are now really in a space, especially when it comes to any kind of actual journalism, where we have gone from having to beware of the easily offended to having to beware of the eagerly offended. Person that's looking to get offended to because that is what they live for. There are some people that's what they live for. They're looking for something. Like, they go to comedy shows where they know the comedians talk about certain subject matter just to make themselves a target so they can say, hey, look what this person said about me. And that can be very detrimental to the creative process.
So they'll go to a comedy show and then a comedian will target them and then they complain about that afterwards.
No. The comedian won't target them. The comedian is just doing their bit, and that person will look to be offended during their bit some way, somehow.
Well, absolutely. It's like, if I know that you make certain kind of jokes and I fit into that category, I'm going to go to that show. And then when you make that joke that I know you're going to make, I'm like, how dare you? You need to be more,
Why go in the first place then?
Because they want the attention for being a victim.
That can literally be their journalistic character.
Yeah.
I've been to comedy shows. I don't know if you've heard. I don't know. I think he'd been there in over there. Jimmy Carr. Have you heard of Jimmy Carr?
Yeah, I've heard of Jimmy Carr.
And he can be ruthless. He says some stuff. He's like, "Oh, you can't." Some of the stuff he said, like, it's like, you can't say that, and he does. And I've been to one of his shows, and he's ruthless.
Oh, yeah.
But he's going to be ruthless, so you going into that how he's going to be.
Right, but then. And of course, context is a big thing when it comes to inclusive writing, because you have to make sure that, because you can write. I can write an 800 word article, and somebody will find 17 of those words and be like, "We're gonna take this part out." And that's the only thing that that's going to get focused on. I mean, I look at people like, and honestly, I look at people like Dave Meltzer, and I look at some of the things that he says, and I'm like, this guy's a clown. But he's a clown when you take him at full context. Like the stuff that he says before the quote, the stuff that he says after the quote is all linked together. So he's a clown all the way around. Like you're saying, I don't like when this person had on this. And it's like, why do you care what Seth Rollins was wearing on Raw?
Yeah.
That's not news. That's not wrestling news. That is part of his character. But that is context. But if you say, and I think those people were idiots, and you just take that part, now my whole article, my article could have been about the music.
Yeah, like when
you've taken this one part out of context, and now that's the story of my article.
Like when you say I read it, well, I didn't read it, but I know that Dave Meltzer. Anyway, when he said Seth Rollins looks like a clown, right? Yeah, and okay, whether he does or not, who cares? I'm still going to watch SummerSlam. It's still going to be a good match.
Oh, absolutely. But see, the thing about it is, it goes back to show you that we're taking journalism to become the low-hanging fruit again. It's like, it doesn't matter what I said. It matters what you take from it and what you can then repeat to others. Because art nowadays, on its own merit, means nothing. It's like, now it's, how do the critics feel? How do the other people feel? How do the people that want to be offended feel? How do people who don't want to be offended feel? How do it becomes a situation almost where it's like, what does my work give to you? Does it give you something quotable? Does it give you something that you can use, or to a certain extent that you could steal? And a lot of times, because I mean, Geek Vibe Nations also does movie reviews, and you're always trying to come up with that witty thing that might get you the quote, because we have people who are being quoted on movie commercials and other things, and they're looking for that witty thing, and it's like, that might have been part of a 1,000-word article, but you took that one part right there. You took those 4 words that were in a sequence, and you're like, okay, that was my goal. That literally 0.4% of my article got picked up by this major news outlet, got picked up and put on IMDb, got picked up and that's the goal now, because that gives you the clicks, that gives you the attention.
But these people you say that are just looking to be offended, you're going to get offended by anything, so you're never going to please them. So
no. But you know what the other thing about those people are? They're going to be consistent readers. They're going to be consistent readers.
Fair enough. Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
And so you have to be mindful that they exist, but you also have to make sure that you don't become so deep of a target for them that it's like every week, if that's not your stick. And for some people, offending people is the stick.
Mm-hmm. That kind of reminds me, like, people like, let's use Jim Cornette, that I think has got some great views and some bad views. But some people hate him, and they will tune in to Jim Cornette and says, he said this.
Yeah.
You're clicking, he's getting clicks, he's getting views, he's getting paid off that view. Probably not very much, but he's getting paid.
Right.
And if you don't like him, why watch him if you know what he's going to say and how he buries AEW? And people get offended at that, and it's just, why watch then?
Because if you think about the idea, it's still a business. One of the reasons why print media is going down has little to do with the fact that print media, whether or not print media is losing quality. Print media goes down because of the lack of interaction. See, if you, let's take you for example, right? You have the Reign and Rock podcast, right? There in our chats and stuff, there's Ricky Goldman, the character, right? If Ricky Goldman, the character, is the consistent part that you play on the podcast, right? Then you're going to make money off of being Ricky Goldman, right? Somebody else wants to make money off of you being Ricky Goldman. So like whether it's I'm I gotta find something wrong with this so people will tune into my view. It's like think about if you're in America, we have this thing called a State of the Union. State of the Union president gives State of the Union, says it's a long speech, maybe an hour, 2 hours, or whatever. But after that speech, whatever the opposition party is, they give a speech to rebut what was said during. That's how social media works. You are one person, right? But you might be feeding 10 people who just exist to say you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. I'll never get those people. But I'm sorry that I'm leaving TJ and Marcus kind of out of this. So Marcus, have you got any questions for Byron?
I guess my question, because like I love writing too, I love reading articles, but I realize that we live in a world of social media clickbait. Mm-hmm. So how much does that take away from your artistic integrity that now you have to try to find that you got to try to just get the clickbait words versus writing full articles that you're passionate about?
I think in a lot of ways it has increased my creativity because now I got to figure out how to balance the commercialism with the quality. And so a lot of times, like one of the big things that you can tell the difference of between writers now is you can start to tell who uses AI. And so AI becomes a crutch because there are four categories of AI writers now. Well, there are four categories of writers now. Pure human with some AI like AI with some human, and then pure AI. Those are your four categories now. And when you can tell the pure AI writers, the people that they try to put in a prompt and then, they try to go for it. They pay for the Pro Series AI, the 4.0s or whatever. And yay for them, right?
Right.
But as a human, you can make a human connection with certain things. I mean, we all know, we all knew Johnson, the guy who used to do like the Attitude Era theme songs, right? We remember him.
Mm-hmm. Right? Jim Johnson, yeah.
Yeah. Jim Johnson is another person that I would write about. I would write about Jim Johnson. I would write about how he talks about. I've interviewed Jim Johnson before. Okay. Yeah. And when you talk to him, his passion for music is the realest thing about him, because it's like he hears the world different, I think, than we do. Mm-hmm. When you say, okay, imagine you're telling a writer to describe somebody, right? Like, say, for instance, all right, Marcus, I want you to describe TJ.
He's tall, brown skin, with a goatee.
Okay, so what you basically did was you gave me physical characteristics, right? Mm-hmm. That tells me nothing about who he is, right?
Right.
Now imagine if that's all you have. Like when you're talking about like a debut of a wrestler. We don't know anything about him. We don't have background on this guy. We know he's tall. He's light skinned. He's got a good look. He's got a beard. Now I'm gonna call Jim Johnson, and Jim Johnson, you got to fill in the blanks on that story, so that when people hear this music, they already have an idea who this guy is. That is the thing. And so you think about when you take a great writer and you put that to music, you have a whole different thing. Like, think about The Rock, right? And I look at The Rock to a certain extent more so now. The Rock's basic chords in his theme are the same.
Yep.
Right. Same from the beginning. The bass chords are the same. There are certain attributes about it that have changed. But do you know how Jim Johnson describes The Rock's theme song? Regal. It's regal. It's royal. When you hear The Rock's theme song, that has a royal beat to it, and you can associate that with him and how he carries himself. This is not Rocky Maivia coming out there in the tassels and the flare and stuff. This is a dude that walks to the ring, and everybody already acknowledges him as soon as you hear the music.
True.
And so when you think about that, what is Triple H? Triple H is massively aggressive. Triple H's theme songs are always aggressive. You know, the old game music with kind of like computerized background or whatever. That was an aggressive tone because when that beat comes in, doom, 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 after that, like those aspects that tells you everything you need to know about a character. And that's how good theme songs are supposed to be made. And that's how Jim Johnson, like if Jim Johnson meets us, there's a song that probably pops into his head after the first conversation with you. And he's like, I know, I get this guy now. You know, I've worked on movie sets, and in movie sets, there's a such thing called a character Bible. You guys, I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, but a character Bible is something that will never appear on screen, but it tells you everything that the director looks for in that character. This is the full description of the character. Like, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy. Vin Diesel got a character Bible for Groot, and every I am Groot has a real line to it. Like, sorry, this is what this line means. This is he sarcastic? And these things are in the character Bible. Sorry, these things are in the character Bible, so that when he says this line a certain kind of way, it's going to give that inflection so that the audience can understand it. Now, that being said, that's how that's written up. You know, background motivations, things that happen. Oh, this happened here. That's how Jim Johnson looks at his theme songs. Those theme songs are a character Bible, like a auditory character Bible. Like when you think about, let's say, for instance, Ric Flair, you think about 2001: A Space Odyssey, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When you hear that, you hear in your mind, you hear every battle that he went through. You hear styling and profiling. You hear limousine riding, space mountain. You hear, you know, him versus Dusty Rhodes, him versus the Von Erichs, him versus Rick Rude, him versus Sting. You hear that in that song. And that's how you know you have a good theme. It's not just about having something that everybody can sing along to.
The Undertaker as well. That his theme music feels like funeral music, and that seems to build as well. It starts off slow, then builds, and out he comes, and I think it also. I don't know if you agree, Byron. That it fits him as he walks. It's slow, and do you agree?
So I don't know if you know this, but if you go back to the original Undertaker, we're talking about like 1993-ish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Undertaker's gongs were supposed to be the same length apart as his strides. So every step was supposed to be every time he stepped with his right foot, it should have been gong, left foot, right foot, gong, left foot, right foot, gong. You know, that was how it was supposed to be because it added to that. It was supposed to add to that character. And he is like walking on his beat. So,
damn, just done it. Yeah, we're getting inside news here, and I'm just amazed.
But see, when I write an article about that, that's how I maintain my artistic creativity. Is because now I can point this out, and this might be something that you can be an Undertaker fan for 30 years, and you're like, I never knew that, I never noticed that. But then when you go back and watch, you're like, oh my God, he does. And I think that is what keeps the artistic away from the clickbait. Like I can say anything and make it clickbait. You know, Sportskeeda is notorious for clickbait, but at the end of the day,
say it again.
At the end of the day,
he's gone again. He's becoming Mick Foley here.
Sportskeeda is considered by a lot of people like low rent basement news. So a lot of people do not have faith in it. Because, you know, your head writer has written 6,000 articles, but how many of them matter? It's kind of like you have a conversation with somebody. I'd rather be the guy that says 200 words, but all of those words matter, than the guy that said 10,000 words and 2 of them matter.
So, I suppose this is a question about Jim Johnson. What was he like when you interviewed him? Was he a nice guy, or also, do you think he should go in the Hall of Fame? So, I suppose 2 questions.
Jim Johnson should definitely be in the Hall of Fame, probably twice over. The big issue is at a certain point, there is, I mean, for one, Jim Johnson is you can tell when certain people love what they do. And I think even with his situation, it was like Vince and everybody, they started to feel like Jim Johnson, as he was getting older, they felt like he was losing touch with that younger audience, and that younger audience has the shorter attention span. And if you notice, once Jim Johnson leaves, all of a sudden you start having these theme songs with people's catchphrase at the beginning, because these other people, they're not understanding the importance here. So let me make sure you understand, like, you know, you got Seth Rollins comes out, burn it down first, right? Under Jim Johnson, you never needed that. You don't need you don't need that opening line to be like the cue the audience.
But for The Rock, you had "If You Smell What The Rock Is Cooking."
Yeah.
So,
but remember the difference. It was, do you smell what The Rock is cooking? Instead of like the later years where it was like, if you smell, like that's how the music changes. There's a big difference between, you know, I don't have to, The Rock didn't have to yell that catchphrase for you to know The Rock was coming.
True.
Even if you think about the best theme music The Rock ever had, Hollywood Rock.
The quiet one.
Yeah.
Hollywood Rock. Remember they had the helicopter, and then kind of like that aura.
A long entrance. It was a long entrance, but it had the aura to it.
And then when it finally hits, it's like, it's cooking. Like that cooked. Like you didn't need the big. You know, people got quiet for that. People got quiet for that, for Hollywood Rock. I mean, so it goes to show you that I don't think Jim was out of touch. I think that the audience and the people that were in charge got impatient.
I think today's, all 3 of you probably agree, today's themes are just, like, just 2 off the top of my head, like Bronson Reed, just, I can't remember Bronson. If you play Bronson Reed's theme now, I probably couldn't tell you it. And Seamus' new one, just both, all the way.
Bronson Reed's theme is just a sped up version of Braun Strowman's theme. And if you think about it, Bailey's theme is just Roman Reigns' theme in a higher chord.
What words?
I'm gonna go back after this later on. I'm gonna go back and listen. I'm gonna go back and listen and try and compare the 2.
Bailey's theme makes me think of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh my god, I love Yu-Gi-Oh.
So, TJ, I want to bring you in here. Have you got any questions for Byron, or not?
Yeah, my question is, so in your dealings with On the Road, what was your worst feeling with a mark?
You said my most feeling of a mark, or
your worst interaction with one.
So my worst interaction, I don't know, and this actually happened at an AEW show. Surprise, surprise, right? Okay. So
go figure.
I don't want y'all to like. I don't want y'all to shoot me through this.
We're all shocked here.
Right. I don't want y'all to shoot me here. But my kids, my oldest 2 kids, their first wrestling show was an AEW show, not a WWE show. And
fair enough. I won't judge, but fair enough.
Yeah.
Somebody call CPS.
I know, right?
Very quick question. Really quick. Did he enjoy it or no?
Yeah, they had a great time. But they had a great time because this was okay. Let me give you like the heads up on this. So during that show, my kids met CM Punk.
Wow. Did you meet him?
I want to make sure y'all understand how far back this was in the AEW chronology.
Did you meet him? No.
Yeah, this was the week after. This show was the week after I want to say Full Gear. Full Gear is the one in November. That's the one. That was the one where like Hangman had won the belt over from Kenny Omega, and then he like gets confronted by Bryan Danielson. I know.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, during this time, Kip Sabian. I don't know if you know who that is, but Kip Sabian. He was doing the box. The box on, he was doing the box on the head gimmick, right? And so my kids, he was doing like photos and stuff like that. So he was really nice, and he let my kids, do photos, and it was one of the, for them it was great because it was like, oh my gosh, this wrestler is like actually like letting us take pictures with them. They don't know this is a thing. They've taken pictures with cosplay superheroes before, but they're actually seeing like a real superhero. And to them, like Kip Sabian was like, and I'm a lifelong fan of Kip Sabian because of this. And so while the kids are taking pictures, and they got their signs, they got their little FTW signs and the belts and stuff like that. Kip Sabian, before they walk off, Kip Sabian gives my son a hug and gives my daughter a hug, right? And so this guy who's eating a hot dog, looking sloppy as shit, is like, that's Kip Sabian under there. And I'm just like,
way to go, ruining stuff.
Yeah, like.
But what was he? Sorry, I was going to interrupt you again. So was he taking pictures and giving you hugs while he had the box on, or did he take it off?
Yeah, he had the box on. So he was doing the whole like the what was it? I can't remember what they called it, but it was something like the redacted gimmick. I think that's what he was calling it at the time. And but he was just so nice as a person for doing that, and that really like helped. That experience like really made that was before my kids got into their seats. And let me tell you this: AEW shows are not kid friendly because everybody curses like they're fucking drunken sailors. But like that was before they got a chance to get in there, and they met Britt Baker and they met CM Punk. CM Punk actually called him down into the like gorilla area. Like they got to come down the steps and like kind of watch the show from the side area and like kind of peek behind the gorilla and everything. And
wow.
So, but like, to them, it was like that was the thing. And it was almost like, when CM Punk calls them down, this one guy tried to push my kids out of the way to get his, to try to get down there himself, a grown man. I'm like, and that almost caused like an actual incident.
What
so
the
like,
hell?
These were the things that my interactions with Mark, and it was like you really about to push a kid, which was gonna have me, in jail for murder, because that's how the fuck I get down. But it's just like it disturbs me when I see that kind of behavior. Like I remember like when I was younger, and we'd have like the drunk dudes in the crowd and stuff like that. And, go to WWE shows or WCW shows. I remember when World War III used to like exclusively be here with the 3 rings or the 2 rings.
Yeah,
60 people.
Yep. It was 3 rings, 60 people.
That's right. And I remember when that was a thing, and I would see like people that would be drunk, and they to me were less intrusive than the entitled fan that I feel like exists now.
Did you meet Punk? No, or no?
Like we were in. Okay, so the way the arena was, it was like we were like up. We were like up, but like so there was a stairway down. Like there wasn't anybody like in front of us, but there was a stairway that led down. So it's like the kids got to go. He actually called for the. He like waved and kind of was like. Kind of like talking jump back and forth or whatever, him and Britt, and he had called for my kids to come down there.
Wow. Was it?
Huh?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Was it just your children or other children as well? Or
I mean, there was another kid that like at a different point in time he had called down like after. But my kids were like. When he had come out, he was coming out to watch the show from where, like, right in front of where we were sitting. And so he had came, and so he like, he autographed some stuff for my kids, and autographed their sons.
Get a picture. Did you get a picture?
I got pictures like from my phone, but he was just like, I mean, it wasn't just like he came down, like he actually was having like full conversations with my son and my daughter about like, well, what do you like? And then he's like, and so my son said, so he asked my son, he said, when he asked my son, was this his first time? And my son said, yeah, this is my first time going. And he was like, he said, well, do you know everybody? He said, no, I don't know everybody. He said, I watch a lot of WWE. And my son said, and so CM Punk's like, oh, he said, well, do you know me? And my son says, yeah, you beat up John Cena.
That's good. At least we know that.
Just imagine if he'd said, no,
Wow.
who are you?
Wow.
No,
Wow.
who are you? I'm CM Punk. Who's that?
But I think, like, you know, but it goes to show you that, like, I think CM Punk likes the new fan, like the fan that's open to that. Like, I don't think he would have been mad if my son said he didn't know you. He was like, oh, well, now he's like, well, hi, I'm CM Punk. Like, that's how he would be. Because my daughter says he didn't beat up John Cena. He blew a kiss at John Cena. And because remember that the whole
yeah.
And so CM Punk's like, actually, I did both, but you know, but it was just him having like this conversation. It's just like my kids. This was 3 years ago. My kids could tell you about it like it was yesterday. Now my youngest child.
How many children have you got?
I got 3. My youngest child, her first experience was a WWE Raw. So I can't. I at least got one. I got one right.
How old? If you don't mind me asking, how old are your children?
So this was my son would have been. My son and my daughter were 9 and 7 at the time.
So 12.
So he's 12 now. And she's
I know I'm bad at maths, but I can work that out.
Yep. And then my youngest, she was too young for the show, in my opinion, because AEW shows were long. This is back when it was Dynamite. It was Elevation, Dark, and then like they would take Rampage afterwards. So we were in there for like 5 hours.
Sounds like torture. It very much sounds like torture.
Well, back then it was still on the upswing during that period, but like. You know, when my daughter went to WWE Raw, I don't think she sat. My youngest, when she went to WWE Raw, I don't think she sat down the whole time. I think that there was a point where she was dancing to the Street Profits. She was dancing to Seth Rollins. And if you know, one of the things that when I thought back to it and I started writing for Geek Valley Nations, one of the articles I ended up writing because of that was about the fan. What exactly about this appeals to the fan? You know, I think I started talking about things like the interactions, the theme music, the recognition, you know, that sound or that feeling of surprise. Because this is when like Becky Lynch was fighting Damage Control, and she was up in the crowd fighting against Damage Control. She was up in the merchandise area fighting Damage Control on this same show. And so when I look back on those things, it's like those are the things that because of what we, you know, because it subverts our expectation, we don't expect those things. We don't, you know, we can look at this significantly different. Like, what does it mean when you take a child under 13 to their first pro wrestling event? How should that look? How should you be? How should you prepare for it? You know, you gotta be mindful of the fact that at some point in time, the crowd may jump into a whole thing of you sick fuck. And, you know, if I don't curse around my kids, and I'm just like, okay, y'all cover your ears, you know?
Well, WWE is more family friendly and that shouldn't happen, but it can. But obviously, with AEW.
I thought they were chanting, you effed up. You effed up.
Nah, they were saying they were like, you sick fuck when somebody starts bleeding, because that was back when cowboy shit was a common phrase that you would hear at the show. So
at AEW, yeah. But AEW marks are like, well, let's not get into it. But very, very quickly, like didn't. Now you've got me going. The spot with Darby Allin, the glass, when someone got caught, like glass went into the drink and into the face, like, and they were just fine with it. Like, no, just no.
Yeah, But once again, if you think about it, that's a reflection on society as a whole. You can make a lot of parallels with a lot of things. One of the things that I used to tell people when I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh was a way a person plays Yu-Gi-Oh tells you how they live their lives. And I think
is Yu-Gi-Oh like a card game? No.
Yes.
Is it like Pokemon?
Yeah, it has some similarities to Pokemon.
Yeah. Yep.
But I think that, the way that a person's fandom is about like wrestling or Star Wars or Deadpool or anything, that tells you a lot about how that person lives their life. And I think that people show you who they are very readily.
The majority of wrestling fans, and I'll say us and Sam last week and Alex, are the rarity, but the majority of wrestling fans are like weird, really weird marks. It's like, and they get so defensive. For instance, AEW, like AEW's are great, isn't it the best? Don't say anything against our precious AEW. And it's like, and it's just not good. And then you get talking to them, and they just lose the argument, and that's it, I suppose.
Well, that's the thing. That's not the majority of fans. That's the vocal minority of fans. That's a vocal group. But most wrestling fans are people just like us. They go to their show, they enjoy their thing, and then they go watch something else. Or they go in there and they go to day jobs and everything like that. It's like if you go to, I don't know if you guys have like anime conventions or comic conventions there, right? Or where you over there? I'm pretty sure I've seen a couple of them.
In England.
Yeah.
We have Comic Cons, and I go to a thing called Love of Wrestling, and that's a wrestling convention.
Right.
That's the only convention I go to, but yeah, it's a convention of the wrestling fans.
Some people will go there and they'll do cosplay. They'll dress up and they'll do whatever, right?
Me, I dress as Reigns.
Then every so often, like you go to Comic Cons and then you have furries, right? The people that dress up like furries. And it's just like, wait a minute.
Someone dressed up in a costume as an animal.
Yes.
That's a furry.
Well, they had rooms for these people where they would nuzzle each other and take naps and stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, y'all just nasty as fucking here. Like, this is not cool. I can't.
I frequently need naps. I'm lazy.
Yeah, but you'll take a nap like a normal person with a blanket, not in a cat costume.
Okay, and gee, that's gotta be warm.
And not on a public floor.
Right, we're getting totally off track here. We're talking about furries and AW marks.
Wow.
So let's get back to you. Let's get back to you.
In fairness, that to me is what the mark is. He's like that. Like there's that big group that's there, and here's this small fella that takes it just a little bit too far.
Yeah.
But that becomes the person that we are judged by. When you say you're a wrestling fan, now you got to be judged by this mark. He might not take a bath in 3 days.
Oh God, I hate those marks. That's the worst mark to me. The ones who just stink. And you can afford to come to a wrestling event. You can afford soap and deodorant.
Yeah, if you can afford to go to WWE, I'm just judging off UK prices. I think I paid to go to WWE in October. I think I paid £65. I think it's 67 with booking fee. Yeah, let's say 70. So if
Ricky,
you can afford to
go, Ricky, but before you paid your £65, you washed your ass, right?
Well, yeah, daily. But
you cleanse yourself. Like there's just.
But if you can afford a ticket, you can afford soap. Yeah.
That doesn't work for me.
But we're getting totally off track here, talking about AEW marks and furries, whatever they are. So let's get back to you, Byron. That's why you're here. We're talking about right. So you mentioned Geek Van Nation. I'll put up the link now. And you mentioned movie reviews, which I'm very interested in. So have you done movie reviews? And if so, for what movies?
I actually did some TV show reviews for some Netflix shows. So I have a couple of those on there. I have a couple that I plan on doing as far as, movie anniversaries are becoming a big thing now, and it's like, oh, it's the 25th year of this, or the 15th year of this, or the 30th year of this. So that brings a lot of those older movies back into focus. One of the ones that I honestly have been considering writing for next year is we're about to hit the 30th anniversary of Casino, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. That's Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Sharon Stone, so on and so forth. That movie is amazing. And it actually holds up so well because it does give you this look of old Vegas, but it also like has this hint of like, oh yeah, we're about to go into this era of corporate run casinos, which if you go to Vegas now, like if anybody's going to Vegas for WrestleMania, there is a new Vegas and an old Vegas. So you get to see a very stark contrast to that. And I think that, when I write my article on the 30th anniversary of Casino, I want to highlight that because when you see life imitate art as opposed to art imitating life, it's a very kind of a humbling experience to think about.
2 very quick questions. Have you been to Vegas, and is it super hot? Is it super warm?
Yes, on both of those. Last time I went to Vegas was just last year, last summer, and I was able to get in before the heat wave hit. So it was still like 90s and it would touch on 100, but it didn't hit the 120s, which is like, I mean, you know how you go someplace and it's like, stay hydrated. Like that is a law. Like you need to stay hydrated. You'll pass out. Like there was an ice bar. I need you to understand what an ice bar is. There was an ice bar.
What's an ice bar?
You go in there, right? And like, because it's hot, you probably don't have a jacket. So you go in there, they give you a fur coat. Then you go downstairs, the table's made out of ice, the walls made out of ice, the seats have, everything's ice. The floor is ice.
Very cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I presume they serve alcohol in casinos, so that's going to dehydrate people.
Oh, absolutely. They had
so they know what they're doing. It's hot anyway. Let's serve them something that dehydrates them even further.
There you go. Coffee is a big thing out there too.
Doesn't dehydrate you as much as alcohol, does it?
Well,
which is crazy.
It keeps you gambling.
Yeah,
it pulls you to gamble. Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy because people will drink. Me. I'm a prime example of drinking on a hot day, drink alcohol, which is, it refreshes you for then, but later on dehydrates.
Yeah, I understand that completely.
I've probably seen some of your articles on Bleacher Report and Geek Vibe Nation. I think I did. I think I saw the Cody one, but obviously didn't realise that you wrote it. So do you want to say a bit about that, about the Cody article and the I think I agree with every word. He's reached his peak at Clash at the Castle.
Yeah, and I think when we think about like Cody Rhodes, it's like, and a lot of people, it's like I was saying this before Clash, like right before Clash at the Castle, and now it seems like the echoes of that has become the narrative. So that's one of the things for me is that I try to see where things are going, and I try my best not to live in the right now, but in the what's coming, because to see the things that were happening or the trends, because that's really what a lot of wrestling is just seeing the trends, seeing the patterns. It's like, go back to NXT Heatwave, right? NXT Heatwave had the finish of a Shawn Michaels match from 10 years before. Like it was Shawn Michaels, Edge, Randy Orton, somebody else was in that match. And that was the same finish, basically, where Shawn Michaels super kicked somebody, got pulled out of the ring, and the guy fell on the guy for the win.
It was Orton, Cena, Michaels.
Yep, and Edge.
There we go. Yeah, that's the fourth person you couldn't think of. Yeah, it's exactly the same. Perfect. The finish to Heatwave was perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so when you see things like that, you can oftentimes see where things are going. You can almost see the Gunther versus, and we're gonna talk about this a little bit tomorrow when I come on, but you can almost see the Gunther versus Damian Priest going a certain way because the whole street trash thing, it lends itself to a certain finish based on the way wrestling goes.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll talk about that.
you will talk about it tomorrow, but well, very quickly, I'll say again, I've said this before, I'll say it again, neither should be losing. I like both, but someone's got to lose, so...
Yeah.
And if you do a count-out finish or DQ, you could do that and extend Damian Priest's title reign, but I also... Well, we'll talk about it tomorrow, but...
Yeah, I'm gonna give you my rundown for that one too. I want to save it, but I don't want to spoil what I think right yet. But this has been amazing, and I've got to make a run. Unfortunately, my hour is up, and I have to get back.
Very, very quickly. Then, do you want to very quickly promote FTW for people that don't know what it is? Tell people what it is.
Now, most everybody has played fantasy football at some point in time, or at least heard of fantasy football. This takes wrestling to a whole nother level, because in the same way as with certain football games, you can do like pick'ems, like I'm going to pick the winner. Well, wrestling, you can pretty much do the same thing, but we have a point system similar to the way fantasy football has its point system, where you outscore, you'll be a head-to-head matchup. You'll outscore if you can get more of the questions right or predict more of the questions and outcomes of matches right, you're going to score better, and that's going to lead to better outcomes for your character. You can also do promos and talk about what your character wants to do, your storylines that you're in. Like right now in FTW, we're on the FTW cruise right now. This is a 2-week event that we're doing specially for the people who play. And it's, all the promos, all the storylines right now take place on the cruise. It's, we've had comedians and things that broke out into fights. We had a murder mystery on the cruise. We've been doing all kinds of stuff, and it's just different characters are kind of taking their storylines and putting, you put a whole bunch of combustible elements on one ship, and you see what you see how creative the people in your league can be with that. And so this is one of the things that separates us from games like fantasy football. You are in the game. And it makes you, I think, to a certain extent, makes you more invested in the outcomes of wrestling. Because, when I started playing this type of game, I was at a real low point with my interest in wrestling. Because I felt like there was no stake in there for me. I wouldn't, I don't care for this person that much. But this game, in a lot of ways, helped rejuvenate my love and my passion for wrestling, because now I feel like if this person wins, I win. So now this is very important for me to make sure this person wins, or to hope that this person wins, or to root for this person. Or now I got to make sure I understand these storylines and such. Because we predict NXT, Raw, AEW pay-per-views for the most part, because AEW Dynamite is terrible, and Impact pay-per-views. And Impact, of course, I think, we were doing Impact back during the pandemic and stuff up until like all their shows started getting spoiled, but we still do their pay-per-views because those are unspoiled product. And it's brought a huge focus now with their deal with NXT. So definitely a lot of fun to play. A lot of people like it. We have over 100 active players every week. Matter of fact, this past week, I think I just beat Ricky.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
sorry.
Huh?
I was going to say very quickly, really quick, and I know you've got like minutes here, so I'll make this quick. TNA or Impact, call it what you like. I think that's now your second biggest company. I think AEW is probably your third. TNA's killing it. And I've cut promos in the past, but I do them very sparingly. So yeah, and if Marcus and TJ aren't already involved in FTW, I'm going to certainly get them involved. I will send the link later on and get them involved.
Yes. I mean, trust me, people. I mean, and it's really a great group of people who just enjoy wrestling. I mean, we call ourselves the FTW family for a reason, because we'll talk about things, and sometimes there are people who have had rough situations that go on in their lives, and being a part of the game sometimes has helped them get through it. It gives them somebody to talk to, or the factions that form in our league become actual friends. So it's definitely a really great community of folks.
And it's not the FTW of AEW. Nobody wants that. Like I said in the intro, like I said and even TJ's nodding. like I said in Byron's intro, it's not the FTW of AEW. Ugh, ugh, ugh. It's a whole better FTW.
Absolutely.
So, and yeah, so I know you're hours up now, so thank you for joining me, Byron, and I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, SummerSlam predictions, and yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for having me, and I appreciate it.
Right, thank you.
You too.
All right, have a good one, man. Be safe.
So, yeah, thank you to Byron. We'll see him tomorrow for SummerSlam predictions, same time, same place. But let's kick this off with, and I'm going to play the video, put up the banner, and want Marcus to say what it is. And we'll start with you as well. Let's talk about your week. But let me play this.
And now it's time for What's Cooking at the Table.
And you said earlier, but if you want to say again, what have you been up to since last week?
Since last week, just watched some SmackDown, hung out, chilled out, played basketball, skateboard, ride my bike. Just my usual thing. Since it's still the summertime and ain't nothing to do. Our chapter of the fraternity that me and TJ are a part of, we had a cookout on Saturday. It was a great success. Everybody had a good time. Bellies were full. A good time was had. So, and here we are all together again. It's Wednesday.
And you're from Philly, aren't you? So you're from where the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is from, or is that not Philly?
So I am from that part. I'm from that part of Philly. But I don't know. I've never seen Bull just around.
West Philadelphia, born and raised.
Come on, sing it. Carry on. Okay, then.
From the playground where I spend most of my days chilling, relaxing, all shooting some beat balls, eating up outside the school, when a couple of guys who were up to no good started raising trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight, and my mom got scared. She said, "You're moving to your auntie and uncle in Bel-Air."
Great show, great show.
Rick,
Fantastic
you think that's
show.
a great show? You should watch Married with Children. You would love that show.
That's actually a really good show.
Better than Fresh Prince. Wow. Okay then.
No, trust me, the insults on that show are hilarious.
It's funny. It's a funny show. I like it.
One of the insults he used was he insulted a woman. The woman said, "How dare you say that to my face?" He says to her this: "I would say it behind your back, but my car only has half a tank of gas."
But Will Smith is the king of comedy. So
no, Al Bundy is the king of insults.
But the king of
You don't get out much if you think Will Smith's the king of comedy.
You do not like Will Smith?
I mean, I do like Will Smith. On the same token, he's not. He's like ha funny, not ha funny.
He's not gonna make you fall. He's not gonna make you fall out your chair.
True. Yeah. Okay. I get that. I understand that. So, TJ, what have you been up to since last week? Are you still adjusting to living in the host of 2 WrestleManias in New Orleans?
I'm still adjusting to living in New Orleans. It's very humid down here, but the food is delicious. If you ever should come down here, Ricky, or make it down here, you won't want to leave because of the food and the alcohol.
Lots of alcohol, is there?
And also our Mardi Gras, which is a big thing that happens which is a big celebration they have here, is happening the same weekend as our American football Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
When's the Super Bowl this year?
February.
It's the same weekend as the Mardi Gras.
Have either of you been to Super Bowl or no?
God, no. Those tickets start. You think WrestleMania tickets are expensive? Multiply that times 4.
Yeah. So I've again been making things at the crafting I go to. So I've lost my papers as well. I'll find him in a second. But a Roman Reigns acknowledge Roman Reigns little thing, and the things come off. Give me 1 second here. But yeah, I made that, and SummerSlam. I made my own card, so SummerSlam card, match card.
Nice.
Been to the gym and been buying photos for the convention I'm going to next year, the Love of Wrestling convention. Massive names will be there: Mick Foley, Mark Henry, Jake the Snake, Buff Bagwell, and many others. So I'm going to that next year. Again, it's going to cost me hundreds of pounds, but it is what it is. And have either of you been watching the Olympics, or is that not your thing?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, I've been watching the Olympics.
Which sports?
I mean, whatever comes on the TV. So while the podcast was going on, U.S. basketball beat South Sudan 100-85, I believe. I've been watching water polo. I watched rugby. I've watched handball. I watched fencing, BMX. Damn near anything that came on TV that wasn't on commercial. So this is actually one of my favorite times of the year. I love Summer Olympics a lot more than Winter Olympics. As a PE teacher, I love the Olympics. So it's really cool to see that there's more than just like 4 essential sports going on around the world, and that we should focus a lot more on those sports than we do. Because in America, rugby it's a thing, yes, but it's not as big of a thing. It should be bigger than what it is. And it's just really cool to watch the Olympics go on and see all these people's hard work get put together as they compete for the gold, for the medal, as well as for country pride. So it's pretty cool.
They put a lot of hard work in, and two questions. First of all, I'll ask this first one. TJ, have you been watching the Olympics?
Not yet, but I've been keeping up with the medal tally. I think we have like 4 gold medals.
I think so. Yeah.
And
right
Marcus,
now, I think China's leading.
Are they? Wow, that's surprising. And Marcus, I don't know if you caught the opening ceremony that got a lot of controversy about the Last Supper and all that. And
I chose not to watch the opening ceremony because that's not when the competitions happen. I don't care about that. I just want to watch when competitions happening. I could care less about the whatever that interpretation was. It wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of people, it's like watching a fashion show in the beginning, right? Like everybody's like, oh, this is the fashion show before the actual event starts. Or that's like watching, we have college American football. That's like watching the Parade of Roses before you watch the Rose Bowl. I'm not watching the prelims.
That's like watching the pre-match before a pay-per-view.
It's like watching the kickoff show. Who's watching the kickoff show for real? No one wants to watch the kickoff. All right, okay, Ricky, you. but I'm not watching. All right, no, not even a kickoff show match, Ricky. I'm talking about the interviews.
Right then. Okay, yeah.
That part. I'm not watching that part. I want the in-ring stuff. So that's what that was to me. I saw clips through social media and whatever, and I was just, and the only thing I could do was shrug my shoulders, and whoever got offended. And if you didn't care to get offended, hey, you didn't care to get offended.
It was very odd. It was like you said,
it's not about Christianity. It's paying homage to the Greeks who basically made the Olympics. The Greeks created the Olympics. They were the day ones of the Olympics. Where was the first Olympics hosted? Athens, Greece.
But like Marcus was saying, it was very like a fashion show. It was very, very odd. It was like this is happening. Then you saw the people on the boat, and then you got a bit more of a show, and then a bit more of the people on the boat on boats. It was like, what's going on? Just very, very odd. Anyway,
not everything's for everyone. That's what I will say.
Just very, very odd. But then I suppose the French people are odd. They eat snails and frogs' legs, so they can't be.
Hold on, I'll be back. Keep on talking.
They can't be normal eating frogs and frogs' legs. So it's frogs' legs and snails. Sorry. But anyway. TJ is gonna have to be very quick because you're up on this, and I'll play this, and then
movie talk.
he made it just in time as well. That was very great. That was great timing.
And all the Hollywood, Bollywood, Nollywood, and anything in between.
So. I'll go first again. So 3 movies. First one, Bad Boys, Ride or Die. Great movie. Yeah, that's all I'll say. Good movie. I'm not going to spoil it for if you do want to watch it, but it's worth a watch. Marcus, I know you watched The Mask last week. Have you watched any older movies or newer movies, documentaries, or anything since last week?
Just the Olympics, dude. Just the Olympics.
Fair enough. So the second movie I've watched is Dangerous Game, the Legacy movies. That was on, the Legacy Murders, sorry. That was on Netflix. Yeah, decent film. TJ, have you watched anything?
Oh, yes. So there is a documentary I do recommend. It's called Dirty Pop. Dirty Pop, it talks about the boy band scandals. You heard of boy bands like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. Also, did you know that Britney Spears was in a girl band too?
What was it called?
In Session, in Obsession. She was for a short period of time. She was in a girls band. They were under the same company, Transatlantic, which is the people who founded NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. But there's a lot of scandal behind Backstreet Boys and the NSYNC and the boy band era. You remember the boy band era. We all do.
Mm-hmm.
And NSYNC was just in Timberlake, wasn't it?
Yeah, Justin Timberlake.
In fact, before the boy band era, I would say that your country invented the original boy band.
The Beatles.
Yes. The ones who made Americans mad by saying they were bigger than God.
The only person bigger than God is our tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. Anyway, wow. He's on God mode. That's just me being a Roman Reigns mark. That's just me being just a Roman Reigns mark.
Oh yeah. I smelled that cooking from a mile away. I smelled that joint from a mile away.
So what are you going to do? Go to God and say, God, acknowledge me.
That's what Reigns should say when he gets up to heaven. God, acknowledge me.
If I ever get married again, I'm coming out like Roman Reigns. My wedding is going to be Roman Reigns theme music.
Yeah, have you seen the people on YouTube that do that? Very cool.
Yeah, but this time, everybody in my wedding party is going to have a championship.
That was cost you quite a lot of money.
Yeah, but that's for the wedding party. That's like $600.
Belts are like $600 each, aren't they? Something like that.
No. It all depends on the belt. Some belts are $299. It all depends on the source that you get them from too. So it could be more, it could be less. I've been looking it up. It all depends on the championship too. So
And Marcus, I think we have something to talk about after this.
What is that?
Look what finger it's on.
It's on the ring. Okay.
So, back to the NSYNC thing you talking about the boy bands. So, was that any good, the documentary?
Yeah, it was really good. Not going to spoil anything for you, but it does dive into the scandalous world of boy bands because, especially with what happened with the Nickelodeon documentary, a lot of people are looking into these child-driven industries, whether they be children's television or music, because there was a lot of abuse in these industries that's finally being brought to light or that we knew about, and we can't ignore it anymore.
Right.
Like you said about Ian Watkins, I don't know if I got the name right. Ian Watkins.
Ian Watkins. Oh, that's sick. Fuck. I liked his music. But when I found out what he did, ugh.
What band was he in? I've never heard of it, but
the Lost Prophets. They were
still don't know.
They were like a skater rock band in the early 2000s. They came up with the song If We Say If We're Going Nowhere. Dude. They also did Jeff Hardy's tribute, Rooftops, standing on the rooftop. Da, 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 da.
If it's not 50 Cent, then I don't know. I like 50 Cent. I like rap.
Shout out to 50 Cent.
I like rap. I don't like.
Shout out to 50. Yeah.
You don't like 50 Cent, Marcus? He's rich.
I love 50 Cent. 50 Cent is one of the rappers that, like, when I was in middle school, we really liked 50 Cent. Like,
well, if he was in middle school, I was in high school.
Yo, shout out to 50 Cent.
Never owe him money, though. Never owe him money.
I've seen all of his movies. Even been to see him live. He came here to Manchester in England. Been to see him live. So yeah, big 50 Cent fan.
So you're a 50 Cent mark and a Rowan mark. This is crazy. This is great.
More of a Reigns mark, but but yeah, 50 Cent is great.
So let me ask you this: do you watch Power?
No, I know he's in it though, but no. I just want to watch his movies.
You ain't a real 50 Cent fan if you never watch Power or the sequel. You ain't a real 50 Cent fan.
It's a series, and just I don't really like series. Anyway, and the third and final film movie I watched, The Invitation. That's also on Netflix. It's a vampire movie. I don't know if either of you into vampire movies, but TJ, do you like vampire movies?
Nah, depending on the storyline.
Like the Twilight movies, do you like those?
No.
Oh, okay, then. Let's move on then. The woman in it, the girl in it, she's hot, but that's about it. What's she called? Bella? She called Bella? I don't know. Yeah. I know so much about these movies. Do you like vampire films, Marcus?
They're cool. I mean, I also think it's just a very niche group. So it all depends. You know, if you put me in front of the TV to watch it, I'm more than likely going to watch it. I'm not that picky about what kind of movies I'm watching.
Blade. They're good vampire movies.
I mean, it's a good story. He's technically like a superhero, so like, yeah, it's not just a vampire movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's more so on the superhero side of things.
And a vampire that can walk around in the daytime without getting fried. I want to be one of those.
Superpower.
Just imagine living forever, though. If vampires live forever, just imagine that. Ugh.
I mean, that could be pretty cool on one end, but on the other end, I can see how annoying life can be. You can be like, oh my god, this is terrible. I don't age.
I'm 500 years old. I want to die. I can't die.
I'm just walking around the streets in the daytime, like I'm trying to die. Burn me! Burn me!
Imagine being a vampire. Imagine being a vampire wrestler.
Gangrel.
Wrestler who's a vampire.
Gangrel.
All right, so not a gimmick then.
No, actual. Not Gangrel. But if Gangrel actually was Gangrel, and he couldn't die,
that wouldn't be that much fun. It would take the whole sports entertainment thing out of wrestling. Like, oh, you can't beat me. I'm Gangrel. I was like, yeah, never mind. No one signs up for this guy. No one wants to work Gangrel, bro. Like, we're not doing it no more.
Like,
what happened?
But Vince will get smart, and then he make vampires and open his own vampire league.
If they were really
it would be the same as the WBC. It would get no money. No one would watch no more. He'd be done.
If they were really a vampire, why would like an RKO, for example, put them down? Like RKO 1, 2, 3. No, they're a vampire. No, it wouldn't really work, would it? It wouldn't work for long.
Nah. It just takes away from the aura of everything. It just wouldn't make it fun.
So I'm going to play a quick ad here because I need to get my notes for SmackDown. But yes, I'll play an ad here. So give me 1 second. I'll play this first. That is right, Protein Tees Goldman. If you can't buy a t-shirt, as I always say, get it shared. All my socials on screen right now. Like, subscribe, all of that. And we'll go to the next segment, which I'm going to get Marcus to announce again. So let me play this. And it is time for... In fact, no. Well, okay, you can still announce it, but I've got... well, let me play this and show you. So someone did a voiceover for it, but here we go.
It is now time for wrestling.
Hey, that was Sam.
Yeah.
So it's time for a wrestling roundup.
From
he's done a voiceover for me, yeah. So
all things wrestling.
So he's done a voiceover for me. So thank you to Sam. Very quickly, AEW. I know I need you very, very quickly. So I was just going to go through it all, then get Marcus's thoughts if he wants to give in it. So let's quickly go through this. So
I'm going to go meditate while y'all talk about AEW.
Right. So on the Wednesday night show, Dynamite, Chris Jericho retained against Minoru Suzuki. Britt Baker knocked off Hikaru Shida. Pac defeated Boulder. Mariah May won a match against a jobber. And Team AEW survived the Elite in Blood and Guts. Bronze. Rampage, Darby Allin won a battle royal called the Rampage Rumble or something. Like the Royal Rumble. Layla Gray lost to Statlander. Lance Archer also knocked off a jobber. And in fatal four-way tag team action, Roosh and Kyle Fletcher went over the Outrunners, Private Party and the Righteous on Collision. It was the Battle of the Belts. So let me go through this really quickly. Johnny TV did the job to Orange Cassidy. Brian Cage and Lee Moriarty and Top Flight did the same for BCC. The Beast Mortis got knocked off by Hologram. Maya World, whoever that is, lost to Thunder Rosa. The Conglomeration beat the Premier Athletes. Lance Archer won another jobber match. FTR knocked off Mansoor and Mace, now called XMX Collection. They're now in AEW. Probably just a one-off, but yeah. Leo Rush lost to Pac, so a big win for Pac there, I think. And then it was Battle of the Belts, like I said. So Tony Storm returned against Taya Valkyrie. Willow Nightingale defended against Deonna Purrazzo. You got brand new six-man tag team champions in Dustin Rhodes and Ivana Ricks. They knocked off the Undisputed Kingdom. So both Rampage and Collision, I'll say, are bronze. Do you want to give any thoughts, Marcus, or should we just move to SmackDown?
Keep it moving.
Okay, then. So I want you to tell me the opening match for SmackDown. Tell the result and your thoughts on it. You remember?
No, I ain't even right. Listen, I forgot to write it down and everything.
LA Knight knocked off Santos Escobar. This builds momentum for Knight. Logan Paul, and Santos attacked Knight after the match. Yeah, okay. Your input on this, Marcus?
LA Knight being Escobar, just building momentum, going towards his match at SummerSlam. I mean, who didn't see that coming, right?
Well, true, yeah. Santos shouldn't really be losing anything, but okay, no, Knight was just a momentum builder.
Yeah, Escobar has nothing happening right now. Whatever he had going on is going really cold, and it sucks for him because he's really, really talented. And honestly, the faction that he runs is very talented as well. It's just right now there's nothing for him.
Oh yeah, I can't disagree with any of that. TJ, do you have anything to say about this matchup?
Santos they really ain't doing nothing with Santos. I'm worried. Like, they need to find something for him to do. Bobby Lashley is gone, so there goes one of his biggest competitors. Maybe he can have something with Solo down the line, but that's if he survives, because I have seen him interact with the other people in the ladder match. Maybe he can have some, or maybe he can have something against Carmelo Hayes. They got Carmelo Hayes kind of like floundering around, or he goes against the Viper, for instance. But they need to find something for Santos to do, because I'm worried. Because I don't want to see Santos let go.
No, definitely not. If Santos is one of those, like an MVP, like a Lashley, and he's released,
he's like a second generation superstar,
and fantastically talented. TJ, do you remember the next segment involved? I'll give you a clue. Involved the women. Do you remember or no?
Give me a reminder. Shoot it.
Okay, Jay Cargill, Bianca Belair, they called out.
Oh, they called out Elsa Dawn and Alba Fire.
And they got attacked, yeah.
That's just a build-up because basically they're trying to legitimate them as a tag team. They've been so stagnant for so long, we actually forgot how they were in the ring. However, they want to build Jade and Bianca up. But I have a feeling pretty soon that things are going to start getting kind of sour between those two. And it's going to be the build-up towards WrestleMania where they face off. And we get to see a heel Bianca. Heel Bianca is Bianca where she works at her best.
I think Bianca's way too popular. We'll see. But I think she's way too popular. And I think she'll still be cheered. And I think she's like super over and really good in the ring. And yeah.
Listen, no, it's going to come down to, there can only be one queen in this ring. And Marcus knows what I'm talking about, where they nuck if they buck.
Do you think that I'll get Marcus' thoughts in a second, but do you think, and I'll also ask you about both of you this, so get your thoughts, so get Marcus' thoughts in a second, but also this is a question for you both. Do you think the match should have been added to SummerSlam? TJ?
Probably would have been a pre-show, but no. There needs to be fun build up. There needs to be more bad blood between them, if you know what I mean.
No, the women's tag title match. Do you think that should be added to SummerSlam?
I'm saying it should be a bad blood, not a SummerSlam.
Okay, they could easily added it to SummerSlam, in my opinion. But Marcus, your sorry,
you have to let some things grow. You just can't throw things together and just expect it to have gold or a good match. You have to let some things grow because they need to still prepare Jade. Let's keep it real.
But Isla and Al are probably winning, so would it not mean more if they won on the second biggest, which, well, it is. SummerSlam is the second biggest.
Right now, they're building momentum at NXT because they had a defense. So I'll just leave it at that.
Even though it is the second biggest pay-per-view, although this year and last year is not treated as so by the card, a win for Isla and Alba on SummerSlam means much bigger.
It does, I agree. But however, they're probably going to save it for Bad Blood.
It's happening on SmackDown.
Huh?
It's happening on SmackDown this week.
Yeah, it's happening on Friday.
Oh, they should have added. Then in that case, they definitely should have added it, because that's just a slap in the face. Like, you put me on a SmackDown match, but then again, who knows? With SummerSlam, anything is possible. Like the Big Four, you just got to be open-minded with the Big Four.
So sorry, Marco. So your thoughts on the segment with the former tag team champions and current tag team champions, and the same question: do you think it should be added to SummerSlam?
I guess it was fine. I mean, we expected them to be attacked, right? Kind of predictable. If you're cutting a promo talking about you're going to get your titles back. It should have been on. It should have been on SummerSlam. It should have been like one cool down matches. Like, all right, we're going to have a really good match, and then right here we might have to cool it down. We might have to cool down the temperature just a little bit before we get to the next banger of a match. And it gives respect to the women's tag titles. It gives it respect, because leaving it off the show gives it disrespect. It doesn't help, right? If we're talking about a Big Four pay-per-view, we should be every single title that's under the WWE banner should be on the line during that show. If we're talking about a major pay-per-view, that's what should be going on. No offense to SmackDown, I love Smacky D's. That's my show. But no, we're not no. If anything, what should happen is Jade and Bianca should be in a tag team match, but you can insert tag team here, build them up for the title match, have the champs come out, confront them, they do the whole little talking back and forth without microphones when one team's raising up the title, the other team's like, we're going to take them Johns, and then let it happen the next day at SummerSlam. Not downgrade it to just a TV match. It gives it disrespect.
I wouldn't say that all titles should be defended at the Rumble. It could be a 10-match card, but I get what you're saying.
I mean,
you wouldn't have time for 2 Rumble matches. So right.
It's a Big Four pay-per-view. Shit should be going on.
Yeah, like, where are the World Tag Team titles? Who cares about those? Like, ugh. Like, no spoiler. I'll spoil it.
No, don't spoil it. Keep it there.
Okay, then I'll say it tomorrow. Then a teaser. The biggest match heading into SummerSlam isn't the title match. There we go. There's a teaser for tomorrow.
There you go.
Speaking of title matches, the Bloodline acknowledged them. They won a gauntlet match. No shocker. Do you see them winning the tag titles this week? Do you see DIY losing this quick? Or not, Marcus?
I do. I think DIY had an okay run, not a good one. The Bloodline's just over. They're just over. It's good to give them the titles. Try to build up that anticipation for a possible solo winning kind of thing. Like, oh, we got the titles. It's your turn to pick up the slack where we're lacking at type of jump. You know what I mean? Try to kind of somewhat relive that whole, tribal chief when Roman Reigns was running the show kind of thing, kind of aura. And, it will then lead to a great builder for Solo for SummerSlam. So I think it's time for the tag titles to be switched off.
Again, should have been added to SummerSlam. Bigger win for the Bloodline, and you do it earlier on in the card to the Bloodline win. So you thinking, and I'm 50-50 on the Solo do it. We'll find out tomorrow my pick. But you're thinking it's Solo's winning it. The leader of the Bloodline. he's winning it because now you're the Bloodline of Tag Team Champions. Who cares about it being on the SmackDown? Bill SmackDown, cool, but put it on SummerSlam. TJ, your thought, your feedback on the Bloodline winning the Gauntlet match, and again, same question: should it be at SummerSlam?
It should be at SummerSlam, but DIY is going to get crushed. It's going to take a miracle. And if DIY beats the Bloodline, then okay, I can see that being a part of Endgame because I can see that because I already see what the ultimate goal of everything is, but I'm not going to say nothing. I'm just going to say Endgame. When I say Endgame, you know what I mean.
I think Batista, when you say Endgame, he was in it. He was only in it for 30 seconds, but he was still in it.
If you look at last year's WrestleMania, it was an Endgame, part 1. You had all these wrestlers come out to make sure that they were either helping Roman Reigns or Cody. Roman Reigns is going to have his own Endgame, and Paul Heyman's going to play a role in it. I was thinking on the couch yesterday. I was thinking on the couch while dozing off before this podcast that here's my theory is that Roman's going to call on Brock and CM Punk to help take out the Bloodline.
The Rock, I think The Rock's behind this, all of this. I think he's really pulling the string.
Yeah, but then think about it like this: both Rock and Brock have had issues with The Rock, especially Punk.
Again, this is why it's 50-50 for Cody. Does Cody do it at SummerSlam?
No, Cody's going to keep the title at SummerSlam. And then something I have a feeling Cody's going to keep that title.
No.
So Reigns is
no. That's what tomorrow's show is for. No.
Let's very quickly go with that. So Solo loses, Reigns is coming back to face a loser, and Solo's not beating Reigns. So without the title, if he's champion, I think he does. But if he's not champion, he loses to Reigns. This past 3 months has been for what? That's my argument. You make Solo look strong. I can like 50-50, and that's how it should be. It shouldn't be Cody's definitely winning or Solo's definitely winning. It should be. Is it? You don't know.
Listen, this is the big four, so we don't know. Anything can happen. This is where suspense and this is where this is kind of like where that inner child comes out in a sense.
But I do think The Rock is behind all of this. He's behind. Solo's not really the head of the table. The Rock is.
I agree with you.
And he's going to get The Rock's bloodline versus Reigns' bloodline at Survivor Series, which we're playing to again. Solo winning. We're going to get into that tomorrow. So Grayson Waller, Austin Theory came out. Then Terence Crawford came out and knocked out Austin Theory. Is he a MMA fighter, boxer?
I ain't gonna hold you. I have no idea who he is.
Me neither.
Okay, he came out. He was like, just stood on me.
But using my context clues, I'm gonna say he's a UFC guy because TKO, stuff like that.
They promote. Oh yeah, probably because they promoted the fight. But he came out and just stood there till they did his announcement, and then he walked to the ring. A little bit odd, but okay. And your main events are women's tag team action. Nia Jax, building momentum heading into Saturday. Her and Tiffany Stratton going over Bayley and Meechin. Cool that Meechin's in the main event. Yeah. Marcus, your thoughts?
Good for Nia. Good for Tiff. Meechin, really good for you. Really good for Meechin getting to a main event spot on Smacky D's. Good job. And Bayley's there too. So good job overall for everybody. That's what's up. Like it. Builds momentum for the three of them and Meechin, and in a whole nother way, let this be a momentum builder for her for somewhere in NXT. Maybe even a title shot down the line against Tiff or the Queen of the Ring. Who knows? But I liked it. Good stuff.
Again, we'll get into that tomorrow. But I'll keep my thoughts on that one definitely for tomorrow. But yeah. Got a sidetrack there.
TJ, what do you think?
Yes, there we go. Thank you. Thank you for conducting the show. Thank you.
Anytime I get to see BBL Bailey, it's always a good match.
She worked hard for that body, okay?
No, it's natural. So and I appreciate it, but I love the BBL.
It's natural, okay then. I bet she's worked out in the gym a lot to get that body.
Yes.
Doesn't come that.
She did.
So my rating for SmackDown, I'll say it was unfortunately filler. Really, really filler, but it shouldn't be. 2 weeks away from somebody. It was 8 days away from SummerSlam, wasn't it? Shouldn't be filler. Oh, silver minus. So that's me being generous. TJ, your rating.
Bronze.
Marcus.
Bronze plus.
Very quickly level up. All fresh action. My favourite, Jada Parker, picked up a win against Layla Diggs. Dion Lennox, he's getting a push, knocked off Uriah Connors, and Dante Cheney's continued to win against Cutler James. I'll say, again, fresh action, a light level up. Silver. There we go. So into the...
Jada. Good for Jada. She's trying to come up in the roster. I can see Jada. I can see Jada doing big things on Raw. I can see her having a rivalry with Elektra Lopez.
I would keep her in NXT for now, definitely, but we'll get to Jada as we talk about NXT. But the red brand, the brand that is uncut, that is Raw. TJ, do you remember the opening segment or not?
The opening segment had something to do with the Judgment Day locker room being trashed.
Okay, it was CM Punk.
Oh yeah, it was CM Punk. Oh, it was Oh wait, I do remember now. I do remember.
What was that? Okay.
Yeah. I remember the opening segment being CM Punk coming out, and then basically it was Seth Rollins, it was CM Punk, it was Drew McIntyre. The instructions were given. Basically, Seth called CM Punk a corporate bootlicker.
Mm-hmm.
Which Marcus, I know you agree with.
That Seth is a corporate bootlicker. Yeah, I mean, he's the company man, of course.
But then he also looked at Drew McIntyre and he also said that don't think you're going to get off the hook either, and said I don't like either of you. It was like I could screw either of you over if I felt like it. And then it was personal when Drew showed him the bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think this is the good match. There's been a good match, and spoiler: this is a match that's got the only real strong storyline heading into SummerSlam. They've been telling this since November. 8 months. Yeah, 8 months total to build.
And this is just going but this, I don't think it's going to end here, at least not for two of them.
I think you get a rematch of Bad Blood. Would you do that in Hell in a Cell or not? I don't know. Probably. Maybe.
It's definitely
I'm saying something that should be Reign Solo, but it's family. Reign, you can't get more personal than family.
I mean, you could have two Hell in a Cell. You could have two Hell in a Cells.
Nah. Hell in a Cell is supposed to blow it off. It's not supposed to keep it going. If you're going to do Hell in a Cell, it has to be two different situations. It can't just be like, I hate you too. Hell in a Cell. Oh, we're going to run this back. Do it again. Nah, it got to be more at stake than than for that second Hell in a Cell to happen. So I think future down the line is gonna be one Hell in a Cell, not two.
Yeah, I wouldn't do two. Not a bad blood, just that waters it down. It should be well, I would never do Hell in a Cell ever again. It should be a total rarity. The last Hell in a Cell match you saw was Mania last year, so they're not that rare. It should be once in every 5 years or something, like really rare. But I would go with one rather than two, and I will go solo Reigns, but let's wait and see. Did you enjoy the opening segment, Marcus, with Rollins?
It definitely helped build it up. Seth is a great talker. He does a really good job cutting the promo, playing the role as the referee, where she's like, listen, it could be DQs, it could not be DQs, it could be countouts, it couldn't be countouts. Who knows? I don't like neither one of you jackasses, so I'm doing it how I want to do it. And if either one of y'all would have paid a hand on me, it's a wrap. We're not doing none of this no more. So I love the way that he spoke that into his existence, because for real, this feud between Drew and CM Punk has Seth in the middle. Because Seth and Drew don't like each other, but they kind of blew that off at WrestleMania. Seth and CM Punk, that's something that's been going on around the time period Punk came back, kept going. It was on cool down once WrestleMania came around, because, whatever, they want to bother with it. But once CM Punk screwed Seth, that relit the fire that Seth has against CM Punk. Because once again, as I say about the has-been, why are you doing stuff that no one asked you to do? I get it. Go to war with that man. Don't screw me over in the process. And that's what he did. He screwed over Seth, which is why Damian Priest probably was like, yo, bro, what we just said about that Pat? No, we're not doing that, because I saw how that went down. He probably reviewed the tape. He saw it. It was like, yo, that's crap. That's trash. We're not doing that. And, first of all, we don't really get to see special guest referee matches that often anymore. And the fact that we got one, it is actually pretty fire. That this one's actually pretty lit. I like it. Or as Booker T says, I like it.
Yeah, I like, but I'm going to Booker to back with that.
You about to say Booker
going
T?
To Booker T. I like it. Some people don't like his commentary. I love it, but that's just me.
Haters.
Do you like his commentary?
I do.
Do you like his commentary, TJ?
Shocky ducky quack quack.
People should say how he tries to get himself over, but whatever.
I mean, he's also a color commentator. That's his job in a way.
I have plenty of thoughts of the first match. Well, no, what happened after the first match. Ugh. But, Marcus, do you remember the first match that happened on Raw? Tag team action.
Was it Otis and Tozawa versus the Creed brothers?
Yeah.
I got it.
Or Corporate Creed.
I will say this. It was an okay match for the beginning. It's nothing like having Otis and Tozawa to get the crowd riled up. Those two know what they're doing when it comes down to crowd interaction. They know what's up. They got it going. The Creed brothers. This is Team Angle Junior version. This is Junior Team Angle. It was alright. It was alright though. It was all right. I mean, the match was cool. Like I said, Otis and Tozawa know how to get the crowd going. The Creed brothers are going to be the Creed brothers. They won the match. The attack afterward was, of course, seen. It was going to happen. Maxine Dupree, good job, Maxine Dupree, stepping up, at least, getting involved a little bit. And then members of the Y6 came out, and they came out to attack. They came out to attack the Creed brothers, which they did a really good job of, and Uncle Howdy scared the shit out of Chad Gable.
Oh, by the way, that got my partner into wrestling.
The match, I don't mind. Creed brothers got the win. Cool, they get the push. It's just what happened afterwards. Ugh.
So the funny thing is, I actually really liked it. I liked that part actually. It plays into the fact that they killed off kayfabe because they took a picture at that fast food restaurant with their stuff off. It makes sense for them to do it because it's like, okay, well, we didn't know who the Y6 is. Yes, you do now, and that's great because now that feeds into the promos that they're going to do. It's going to feed not in the promos, the vignettes they're going to do for them and why they joined the Y6. Why they want to play these characters, why they want to impersonate these characters, what inspired them to want to be a part of this faction versus like, oh, I don't know who's behind the mask, but we know who's behind the mask. It reveals kayfabe into reality. It allows us to do that versus being like, oh, I don't know who's underneath the mask, but we all know the marks of the world ruined it for everybody, including them. They ruined it too, but like for the people that's like casuals, that's like, oh, I don't know who's in it. Somebody's going to say, oh, that's. And it's like, no, that was great. That was good stuff. Kayfabe became reality because we know who they are if you follow wrestling, but it made it a lot more fun. It didn't take away from nothing. It didn't take away from anything.
I totally respect your opinion, but I also totally disagree.
Yeah, that's disagree.
It killed their... It continued to kill their gimmick because they're now just another 3 guys on the roster, and then also look, well, 2 things. 1, you're going to get now, well, 3 things. 1, that match should be on SummerSlam. 2, you're going to get a 50-50 match. They're not going to go in and destroy Gable and the Three Brothers, which they should. It should be dead. They go in, kill them straight away. It should be a 30-second match. They're not going to do that. They're going to go back and forth. And now look at the faction. Dexter Lumis has done what on the main roster? Nothing. What did he do in NXT? Very little. Joe Gacy, the character fits, but what did he actually do in NXT? The schism was very short-lived. Bordellos is a notorious jobber for life. The only thing he's ever done was win the Raw Tag Team titles.
No, he's won whoa! You don't remember when he won the NXT Championship?
Okay.
That's crazy.
Okay,
that's crazy.
Champion and Raw Tag Team, but on the main roster, Raw Tag Team Champion, and that was cool. Great work. The B team were fantastic. They were the backup of the Maze. It all worked. But Raw Tag Team Champion. So Eric Rowan, former Tag Team Champion. When you look at who the faction is. Ew. And then Nikki Cross. Ew. So
this is a part of the reason why them joining the Y6 makes sense, right? Think about Bray Wyatt as a character in the first place. He took those lost souls and he would mold them and make them into scary people, right? No one knew the name of Eric Rowan or Luke Harper before the Wyatt family. Not unless you follow other independent brands, which I know I did not. But he made them into something, right? And that's the whole thing with this Y6. These are lost souls who now have a purpose of being involved.
Hey, Ricky, I gotta go, so I'm gonna hit y'all both later.
All right.
Okay then. Fair enough. Right then.
All right. Sorry, man. I'll talk to you later.
Right then. Okay. All right. It's just me and you, Marcus. Then that's fine. Okay then.
Yep. So to me, like Dexter Lumis, you already alluded to everybody. I don't even know who Joe Gacy is. That's how bad it is, right? Dexter Lumis. He had an okay run on NXT, mostly with the India thing, all that good stuff. That was fun, right? But what did he really do? Not a lot. He got to the main roster, did some somewhat creepy things, but once again, didn't do nothing. Is a perfect fit for the Y6 because it's like you're a lost soul. They had nothing for you. Come over this way. We got something for you. Nikki Cross. The funny thing, out of all the people that's in the Y6, she's the most accomplished.
Yeah.
Tag team champion, Money in the Bank, women's champion, the 24/7 champion, if you want to count that. She's done, but she's won more gold than everybody in the Y6. But yet she became a lost soul when she tried to throw the 24/7 championship in the trash and missed. And it's like it's a perfect faction of lost souls. I love it. I know you detest it. I know you don't, and I know you're not in favor of it, but I love it. And honestly, I actually agree with the match actually being on Raw. I don't think that'd be a good show for SummerSlam, only because it's not built up enough. The Creed brothers just got involved. They just got involved. If anything, what should happen during SummerSlam is Chad Gable do a short promo, come out, try to talk his talk, and then next thing you know, the lights go out, all the fun spooky stuff happen, and then boom, Uncle Hottie behind them, ring surrounded. The Creed brothers get beat up. Boom, Sister Abigail. That cut off to the next thing. Have it that way to build up the Raw match and build up the Wyatt Six as they are.
Well, I like the Wyatt Six. I like the direction they're going, but I need to see more. But the thing that definitely has killed them is when Adam Pearce said, "Oh yeah, they've got a contract." So now they're just another people. They're just now another three people on the roster. So after the massacre, Adam Pearce said, "Come to my office. Let's sign this contract." What?
No, I don't think that's what killed it either. I think what it is, they were already signed, right? And he probably was like, never know. It could be one day he's like, "Dang, where are those people at?" Right? They was in catering, eating donuts and whatnot, eating pizza, right? And then next thing they saw that happen. Remember, they were underneath masks. We didn't see who they were. Then the pictures got taken and all that. And first I was like, "Oh, that's who did that." Okay. And that's when, remember, they ain't do nothing else backstage. It's all just been out there in the ring and vignette stuff. So maybe from there it was like, "Hey, I learned who you guys were. No more of that backstage stuff. In the ring, sure. Do all the hocus pocus all you want, but in the ring." So that made it funnier when Chad was like, "We know who they are. Do you know who they are?" And Pierce was like, "Yeah, dude, they're under contract. What are you talking about?" Like, "Yeah, I know who they are. I know who I employ." It made it that also made it funny. That part made it a little bit funny, but it also is to help build the Wyatt Six still, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
Well, that's fine. I completely respect your opinion. See, I think of masked wrestler Kane. So Kane wore that mask for years, a mystique of what does Kane look like? Who's this monster? Even after taking the mask off, he was still dangerous. But never did you hear they went, "Oh, Kane's done all this destruction. Oh, he's under contract." So you've put a guy that's done all this destruction under contract. Why would you want him in the company in a kayfabe sense? Just, I think it continued to kill it, but yeah. Anyway, Bronson Reed knocked off Sheamus. I think I'm going for Bronson Reed here. We'll go to the next match, the match that we both said about Jey Uso beating Kalito. Well, whoopee-doo. Your thoughts on both?
So, Butch, someone needs to put Butch down immediately. I'm tired of this crap. I'm tired of him showing up on 2 shows. I'm tired of him just everywhere. All right, Sheamus should have beat Bronson Reed. I'm not a big Bronson Reed fan. I'm a fan of the man that hands out bangers after banger after banger. Yeah, it happened. They're going to end up having a match at SummerSlam, I feel like. Maybe a kickoff show match, as they should, honestly. Jey Uso beating Carlito. And mind you, we skipped over the segment, by the way. So what? So what, Jey Uso? Like, bro, like, you know what it is. You know what they're trying. You know what WWE's trying to do. They're trying to recover from the fact that they screwed up the whole Jey Uso should have won Money in the Bank thing. That's my feeling. They're screwing that up because Jey Uso is over like Rover, and Rover cannot be more over than him. And right now, they try to feed into the Drew McIntyre thing, blah 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 blah. Jey Uso right now should be the world heavyweight champion. He's so over. That dude is so over that it makes no sense how over he is. Yeet is such an old concept. First of all, like, to yeet something means like to throw it far away, right? Oh man, yeet is old. That's how old it is. Yeet is so old that I don't remember when it was a real popular thing, right? But yeet is so over. The whole like hands up and down thing, that's so over. Why is that over? That's old too. But it's over. And the thing is, Jey Uso should have the championship right now. There should be no way that he's not a champion at all. Like, not tag team. Let's not put him back there. I'm talking about singles champion, Jey Uso, and they need to pull the trigger on that sooner versus later because they're killing his aura. So they gave him that corny ass throwaway match with Carlito. No one cared.
If they have 100%, it's a maximum, but I'll say 200% agree. They know Jay's popular, but it's like, okay, we'll keep him winning, we'll keep him, building momentum, but not actually give him a championship. No world championship, no IC championship. Just get wins every week, and that's it. And you see, like I agree, you see how over he is. So why would you not cash in on it? Why would you not give Jey Uso the money in the bank instead of having it just involved in? Okay, he built the CM Punk Drew McIntyre thing, but it was just a waste. At the same time, a waste. Just Jey, future world champion, he could be the guy to beat Priest. You build Priest and Jey. Okay, Priest is going face. That wouldn't work then.
Right. I get it, but what a waste. You're wasting main event Jey Uso.
We've got a host for SummerSlam, and that is the awesome one, The Miz. So get your thoughts on that. And Karrion Kross knocked off Xavier Woods. I love the push that Karrion Kross is getting. So your thoughts on both?
They freed up The Miz from being a tag champ to make them a host. Miz is a great talker. He's good. He's really good on the mic. And he's from Cleveland. So why not make him the host? I mean, Logan Paul's busy that night, so can't really make him the host. So okay, that's a smart move to make him the host, and it gives SummerSlam that second biggest pay-per-view aura, right? Because the only other pay-per-view that gets that kind of thing is WrestleMania. So kudos to them for doing that. Karrion Kross beating Woods. I like it. I feel like that faction, though, has gone nowhere. Karrion Kross needs to be in title contention somewhere. The AOP needs to be in title contention somewhere. They need to do something with Karrion. Love this feud. But after the Braun Breaker Sami Zayn thing, and if the babyface gets the win, Karrion Kross needs to start stepping up to the plate and be like, Sammy, and cut some really good promo work. I want him to really dig into it because he has a way of cutting these very intricate yet villainous promos that work so well. I mean, during the match, he was telling him the New Day's dead, yo. He's like, where's your buddy Kofi? Where's Big? Like, it was so good. His way of doing a promo without a microphone in the ring towards Woods, and it's like, dude, Woods is helpless. And look at it, and I mean, the proof is in the pudding. We was all seeing Woods getting kicked down, beat up by Karrion Kross. Good job, Karrion Kross. I love it.
And for those that check the main event results, I don't know if anybody else does, but I do. AOP were on main event, and they got to win, but they were on main event. They're doing nothing.
Yeah.
It was Sami Zayn taking on Dominic Mysterio, everybody's favorite Dominic Mysterio. Sami Zayn DQ win. You then had, as TJ likes to call them, the Scissor Sisters. The stud. Apparently they call the stud line. Are they? I don't know. If someone made that.
Team Five Head, because they all got some big ass foreheads.
Sonya Deville, Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler knocked off Lyra Valkyrie and the KCs. Cool.
And then Critical. Control Damage came out.
Damage Control.
Damage Control. Damn. Close. Trust me, I watched the product. Their name to be confused with Sham. So Dom facing Sammy. It's about time Dom start getting some stiff competition. I mean, the last time he really was in the ring, like, and it was a pretty good like outing, was North American Championship stuff. I think they're reserving Dom for the right time, and I get it. I so get it, but I think it's starting to be time for Dom to really start doing more. I'm tired of seeing him not doing as much as I think he should do. Personally, he's so over as a heel. No one wants to hear him talk, and I love it. It's time for him to get something too. I don't care if it's in NXT. I don't care if it's on the main roster. He needs to get something. All right, match. I mean, of course, Braun Breaker going to be Braun Breaker. Goldberg / Steiner Brothers clone, and that's fine. Whatever. The 6-woman tag match. I hate to say it, but it was such a throwaway match because Valkyria. I'd never seen her work at NXT, and she's giving me a reason why I never wanted to watch her work at NXT.
Yeah, she's not great.
It's so blah. Like, she's just a small, cruiserweight size woman wrestler, and that's not a bad thing, but it's a bad thing when you was drafted to the brand and you were so highly touted, and you have a cool entrance, so clearly people go, woo! Woo! Right? People like it, but as I said in our chat, and of course the viewers ain't in their chats, but the women roster is stacked. It's stacked through the roof. There's no way for her to crack through this barrier when there's only tag titles and then the Raw Women's Championship. Or no, not Raw Women's Championship. Sorry, the Women's World Championship. There's only 2 titles that she could go after, and she's stuck in a 6-man tag. So that means you out. So she kind of, she's teaming up with the Party Girls. I mean, sure, cool, whatever. But Team Forehead, of course, is going to win that battle. And there was a throwaway match, and they had more to deal with Damage Control anyway, because Damage Control just coming back. Damage Control was running WWE at a point in time where EO was on top of the world. Now it's kind of like Dakota is like now taking the reins of the group, which is like, boo, no one cares about you. You're the one that had the knee injury, and you weren't all that in NXT either. Like, we like Kairi Sane and EO more than you. And when Asuka comes back, I hope they kick you out the group, kinda, because you kind of hold the team back. But they need someone that speaks English, really good English. No offense, Asuka, you don't speak as well English as Dakota does. And you know how they feel about promo skills. You gotta have the promo skills to keep climbing the ladder. Even though we're not living in Vince world, Triple H will still like you to speak words that he can understand. And the crowd don't go, and the crowd not saying this word.
Yes.
Right.
I like Team Forehead. Team
Forehead. Team Forehead. And guess what? It's inclusive. Talking about foreheads. Everybody got a forehead. Yeah, Team Forehead. Team Forehead. Their foreheads are massive. Shout out to the girls with massive foreheads. Your girls are lovely, but yeah, we're gonna call them Team Forehead because their foreheads are ginormous. Golly. If you can see Triple H's nose from a mile away, you can see their foreheads from just the same distance.
Just imagine the two.
Yo, I'm telling you, man. Team Forehead versus Damage Control. That's what we need to see.
But yeah, with Dominic, you can't even speak, and the fans are booing. So yeah, that was a totally over heel. But Team Forehead.
Team Forehead, man.
That's the new name going forward.
Team Forehead. Remember that.
Good in NXT. She couldn't cut a promo. Promos were awful. But since going to the main roster, it's like she's very quickly to become just another woman on the roster. Just there.
That's a problem. You're going to get lost in the shuffle that way. And she has.
And your main event of Raw saw Gunther build momentum for Saturday's pay-per-view against Finn Balor. Then that had Damian Priest come out to close Raw with a brawl. Your thoughts?
So first of all, great match, great contrast of styles. Finn Balor is a quicker guy, more of a cruiserweight kind of size kind of guy, versus Gunther. Here for the ground and pound, keep Finn Balor on the ground. I love the fact that Finn Balor didn't give up, so too easily. It kind of reminded us of Finn Balor before he joined the Judgment Day, which is great. One of the things I love about Gunther and why I'm a fan of Gunther right now is the fact that the man doesn't have a finishing move. He doesn't. He fights, right? Like at one point in time, he was utilizing the power bomb. We know his signature move, which is the chop, which isn't even being utilized as much as it should be, right? But then again, you had to be in the ring with people that can take that heavy ass chop. Good job for Finn for taking it, selling it, of course. But he beat him with a rear naked choke, right? That was not on my bingo card for how Finn Balor was going to lose. I thought Finn Balor was just going to get powerbombed to oblivion, right? And he kicked out of that, so he got the rear naked choke, got tapped out, and Gunther didn't let go. Whoa, okay, all right, we get it, all right. And that forced Damian Priest to come out and start laying hands on him, and it was great. I am kind of bothered because I know you said this last week when I was on the show, and I got to take back words. Thanks, Damian Priest. I got to take back words that I said last week, which was, I don't think this is heel. I don't think this is baby versus heel. I think it's heel versus heel. Thanks, Damian. You made me look stupid. Because now Damian is working babyface because you went out there and saved your buddy, right? A heel faction will be like, no, he said he's doing this by himself, so let him do it by himself. So I did like the match. Of course, I like the aftermath because it's just two, as Big E would say, it's two meaty men slapping meat together. Two big guys just going at it. We also skipped, before we keep going with this, we also skipped the vignettes from Rhea and from Liv. So I'm gonna get your thoughts on those vignettes. So talk about the match first, and then talk about the vignettes.
Thank you. Thank God you're here. I'd forget. But yeah,
I'm gonna start taking notes, Ricky. I'm gonna start taking notes so I can start running that too.
Good match that was. Yeah, Gunther defeating Finn Balor. But then, why do I now care about the World Tag Team titles? You've had Finn Balor losing a singles match and just ugh. But Liv is killing it as a character. I still think Dom is gonna help her. That's another spoiler. But it's not a prediction, it's a spoiler, as Paul Heyman would say. But yeah, good. Yeah, Liv is killing it. And Liv, Rhea had a good promo package thing. It hypes a match without him being there. Do you agree?
Yeah. Their vignette package helped the match. Liv's more than Rhea's. And the reason why is because it seems like Liv has more at stake, right? In a way. All Rhea's trying to do is just get back her title, right? She got back her man, right? Of course, she got back her dude. Good for her. Liv, it might be from the way she's playing her character. It might be from a movie, right? Because there are movies, there's TV shows, there's a lot of things out there that she can probably reference that the girl didn't get the boy that she'd been salting after, but she was trying to take that boy away from another woman, right? I mean, that's also reality. Listen, reality is always like that. There's always a girl out there trying to take that man from that girl because she don't think that girl deserves that man, kind of thing. And Liv is playing so well into it, and they're doing such a good job doing it. All three of them. The three of them are doing such a great job with this. And some credit to the Judgment Day, too, for playing into it. But Liv has so much more to lose for this in this match at SummerSlam. If this is not the semi-main event, I'm going to be pissed. Because this thing is hot.
I think you do Punk, Drew is your. I think Reigns, Solo, Cody main events. The match before on to be Punk, Drew, but that's how I would do it. But
we'll have two semi-mains then. You have two semi-mains.
And if Reigns wasn't coming back, Solo, Cody would probably open. It's not a main event match anywhere, so no one's looking at that thinking, "Oh, let's stick that as your main event." It's had a good, decent build, but
yeah, it's not a main event quality match. Solo's not there yet.
I think he's getting there fast, but
he's getting there fast, but he ain't there yet. Give him some more time. So that leads us into yesterday NXT. Next.
Quickly, my rating for Raw. Raw rating.
I'm thinking it was a silver plus. I liked it. Didn't love it, but I liked it.
And I'm just upset now you can't join me every single week, but it is what it is. But yeah, we'll just carry on. Yeah. Because you're conducting the show way better than I would. So, but yes, week 1 of Great American Bash saw my favourite tag team of Ja'Cory Jackson and Lash Legend unfortunately lose to Alba Fire, Isla Dawn. Well, at least he got the tag title shot. And also, after the match, Ethan Page came out and he got pinned again. So your thoughts on both?
Hell yeah. Shout out to Lash and say her name one more time. What's her name again? Ja'Cory. Shout out to them too. Shout out to them for putting on a really good display. Mind you, NXT has their own women's tag team championships. Am I right? They do, right?
No, they've got Alba and Isla had them. They came up and they put them together. I think Ronda and Shayna were champions. And they got dissolved. So now those will be tag team titles or the NXT as well.
Okay, so even more shout out to them because if they would have won that match, that means they would have been bouncing around between 3 brands, which would have been awesome. I would have loved to see Lash come up as well as Ja'Cory, but it's too soon for them. So the proof was in the pudding. We kind of saw it beforehand, but I was mostly watching that match to see how well they worked the match. I wasn't really watching it for them to win the match. I was watching it from to see their working rate with champions, with people that have been called up to the main roster, right? Because there's always sometimes there's a big difference between those that got called up and those that didn't, right? It's always kind of like this sometimes, but that was actually pretty all right. That wasn't too bad. It was actually pretty okay. Not too far underneath the champions, but they still got room to improve as they always do. The Ethan Page thing, it was hilarious, right? Like, ain't no referee in the ring, got rolled up. Lash and Ja'Cory counted the 1, 2, 3. It's like, dude, you keep getting pinned, bro. It's time for us to blow off this match. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be cool to watch. It's gonna be cool to see how many times you get rolled up and how many false finishes it's gonna be.
I love that Oro's really worked hard to get a title shot. Like, Noam Dar's away. Oro Mentor's really worked hard to get where he is. I'm loving it. Are you loving it?
I do love it. I didn't know who Oro was beforehand, but it's making me want to recognize who he is now. So shout out to Oro for putting in the work.
I don't think he wins next week.
I just want to see how many times he rolls them up. Once again, I'm here to see him work the match. I'm not seeing him to win the match. I want to see his working with the match. Especially since I'm my first time viewing. Well, this is my first time seeing Oro in a match. So I've never seen him in a match. So I'm here to see the work rate of Oro.
He is good. And like I said, I like how he's worked his ass off to get where he is. To our second match of the night, Tony D'Angelo, Tavian Heights. Apparently, Tavian Heights is leaving. That's what TJ said last week. Okay. Heritage Cup. Tony D'Angelo retained. Yeah.
It was all right. It seemed their styles are the same. Suplexing style. It was alright. I wasn't really liking it too much. It didn't have it. It gave it. To be honest with you, it felt like a developmental match. That's exactly what it felt like. It didn't. It was definitely a tier below the tag match.
I think Davey Knight, apparently he's leaving, but I think he's definitely the future. Do you know, Green, or no?
Heights he's good. He just needs more work. Let him keep growing. Let him keep developing. That's why he's in NXT. Let him keep developing because his character needs work. And just in-ring stuff. Because I saw something that looked like a botch, and I was like, okay.
I agree, though. I like Tavian. He's good, but he needs work. So hopefully he's not leaving. If he is, then this is it, I suppose. But moving on, Cedric Alexander, former Raw Tag Team Champion, knocked off Brooks Jensen. Much needed win for Cedric here. He can't keep losing. He lost last week. He can't keep losing every week. If he does, why is he in NXT? So, your thoughts?
The promo before the match was pretty good. I like the promo before the match. Coming at Sean Spears and his teachings, right? And this was kind of like a side thing. A pupil of Sean Spears is stepping up, being like, "Hey, you don't talk to him like that. I got you in the ring." Pretty good match. Got lumbar checked. 1, 2, 3. Good job, Cedric. You're down there to help them develop, but you're also there for your own gain as well. Cedric's down there to find the things that was missing from him being on the main roster. Why aren't you on the main roster? You know what I mean? You're here to find those things while also trying to help the youth develop. So it was a good match. I liked it. Contrast of styles, which is always a winner in my book, at least. And it was, as you said, it was a much needed win for Cedric.
Do you like Brooks' new, I don't know, you call it not really a look, but new attitude? He's coming out, he's really lost. Sean Spears is kind of his lead, not leader, but guiding him. And he actually looks like not down and out, but he looks like he's been on a drinking bender for 50 years, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, it's developmental, right? So Sean Spears being as tenured as he is from NXT, AEW, some Raw and SmackDown experience, it's a great combination, right? Hey, I'm like your mentor kind of thing. So it's actually a pretty cool thing that they're doing, that they're working through. It's kind of almost on the level of Baron Corbin, JBL, but way lower tier than that. So I like it.
Say his name and he shall appear. Joe Hendry.
I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Of course, he had his
concert,
but unfortunately didn't get to sing his song. I would have loved to have heard it live, but there we are.
I was so sad. I was going to
leading to a match next week. I think Joe Hendry's going after the title at No Mercy. So, your input on the segment, and do you agree that Joe goes after Ethan at No Mercy?
First of all, because we haven't talked about Joe Hendry at all. First of all, you want to talk about a guy who absolutely is killing it with the NXT TNA combination, and that would have suffered if TNA was still doing this thing with AEW. Joe Hendry would not be as over as he is if TNA wasn't doing this thing with NXT. He would not be as. I didn't even listen. At one point, I was like, "Who the hell is this Joe Hendry guy?" I don't know what's the excitement for. Right when he showed up for that battle royal where anybody can show up, kind of thing. I kept watching that clip. I'm a part of that. I'm a part of the millions of people that watch that clip over and over and over and over. The dude is over. Once again, the same thing that we say about Jey Uso, we can say the same thing about Joe Hendry. But in a way, Joe Hendry is more over because Joe Hendry is doing this between two different companies. which is crazy. 2 different companies and globally. Not saying that Yeet isn't global, but Yeet is in one company. Joe Hendry expanding 2 companies in global. So the fact that he had a new, he had that song, and I've seen one of his concerts before when he performed it on AJ Francis. Actually, it was pretty funny. When he did that, came at Booker T, came at Gallows, Joe Coffey and them. It was funny. It was hilarious. I liked it. And then I thought he was going to perform the song. I was going to do the whole turnaround thing, make my face look like it wants to be punched because I love the song. It's hilarious. I'd listen to it at least once a day because it's that funny to me. So we had Byron on. Was that his name? TAJ Styles, the guy that writes for Bleacher Report.
Right, Byron. But his real name is Byron. Yes, sorry. Yeah.
Byron. So we had him on earlier. He talked about Jim Johnston. Jim Johnston probably is clapping when Joe Hendry song comes on because it's that simple, it's that basic. It has great words, it has a good Titantron, and it's easy to follow along. Is that annoying that it's easy to follow along? That's why some people hate Joe Hendry because they love him. They hate him so bad. They hate him so much that they love him. You gotta love him. The way you acknowledge Joe Hendry. Listen, I acknowledge Joe Hendry. That's how you acknowledge Joe Hendry. You do the claps. So it was a great concert. It was a good segment. With Gallows beating him up and everything, and trying to be like, "Oh, you're not Scottish. You're a flash in the pan." And it's like, yo, get off of Joe Hendry, bro. Joe Hendry makes you feel. I believe in Joe Hendry.
He had a song. His song was here in the charts, so that's amazing. And he did an interview saying people that don't know what wrestling. Well, okay, everybody knows what wrestling is, but people that don't know that Joe Hendry and what he does in wrestling, that's a whole new audience that he's pulling in. Hopefully. So, do you think he goes after the NXT title at No Mercy?
If Ethan Page is that the next pay-per-view, right?
September 1st.
Ooh. I think he does. I think he's so over, and Shawn Michaels likes him so much to keep coming back. He's going him and Ethan Page, and it's going to the way the feud's going to start off. I got a prediction on how the feud's going to start off. He's going to annoy Ethan Page. Ethan Page is going to say something about saying someone's name because he's going to be tired of the crowd saying Joe Hendry's name or whatever. And he's like, you want to say his name? You want to say his name? And say his name. He appears. It's going to be so funny. Mind you, Trick is getting lost in the shuffle. Not go into a tangent or a different soapbox conversation, but sadly, Trick is getting lost in the shuffle of, I want to get my title back. Bro, I'm sorry. You got to earn your way back. Right? It's low key kind of like a Cody thing. You gotta earn your way back. You don't just get a shot back now. So you gotta wait. But listen, I believe in Joe Hendry.
Maybe perhaps a triple threat match at No Mercy, and then Joe Hendry and Halloween Havoc. Maybe.
I like the way that sounds. But so how you feel about the segment? What you like about the concert? I know you being from the UK. I know Joe Hendry's a god. No, I think he should have sang his song. I was quite disappointed he didn't, but he's super over. Like, yeah, super over. And does the NXT crowd watch TNA? Some will, some won't. The majority probably won't. So they know who he is. And like I said, if TNA were working with AEW and he did it in AEW, people were like, "Who's that?" Most of the crowd, "Who's that?" And yeah, it wouldn't be as over as it is, and just it wouldn't work like it is, and he would come. Who works for AEW? That Lance Archer. Here comes Lance Archer to destroy him, and who cares? They have a match on Collision. Joe Hendry wins and never seen again. Ugh. Right.
3 women's matches, but we'll go to the first 2 on NXT. My favourite, Jada Parker defeating Kendall Gray, and Fallon Henley, Jacy Jane, and Jasmine Nix knocking off Sol Ruka, Lola Vice, and Common Petrovic. Both good matches, both good wins for either, both. Your thoughts?
The first match got me confused because I mean, that's also to my credit. I don't know who she is, so I got kind of lost. And like, I'm watching the match. I like the work rate. It was just more so who because they cut the vignettes of the six woman tag before that match, and so I got confused on who the hell's who. But big credit to the girl. I remember. I don't want to talk about why I remember that match. I'm not gonna speak on why, but no, she definitely killed it. Did a really good job. She's slowly but surely building towards, going up the card. So that's good for her. The 6-woman tag I very much enjoyed. You could tell that they work really well together. There's something there. I mean, Lola Vice she's not that seasoned, right, in professional wrestling. So big shout out to her and the rest of her tag team for putting in the work.
We'll discuss the main event in a second, but would you not turn Jenny face, but face tendencies and have her go after Roxanne at No Mercy?
It proves it's going to keep building Roxanne. So I think Roxanne's open to all challengers because, that's just who she is. She's killing it right now. So give her another challenger. Let's go.
Would you have Jada win?
No. No. Roxanne needs to keep doing her thing.
Roxanne's going to lose at some point, which actually she didn't.
I know. But the question is, to who? Right? The thing is, sadly, the one thing I'll say, you know what? I got to who. This is also me being very highly biased, but to Lash. Losing to Lash.
You could turn her face and she would work.
I feel like right now, Lash is a face. I think Metaphor is a face. I know they were a heel faction.
Okay, of course, yeah. Oro's face, yes. Yeah, they are. Yeah,
I think they're face now. I think they're all faces. Yeah, with Noam Dar being gone.
I don't know if you call it the No Mercy promo, but Lola Vice is on it, which is super cool for her. So maybe Lola, Roxanne again at No Mercy, maybe. I don't know.
Possibly, but Roxanne might also look past her and be like, I already faced you, so get in the line.
But for it to be on the promo, super cool. But speaking of your NXT Women's Champion Roxanne, Thea Hale put in a hell of a performance. I thought she was going to do it, and that's how everything should be. I was like, is Thea actually going to do this? She didn't. Okay.
Yeah, you're going to come up short against the best woman right now in NXT. You're going to come up short, but really great work rate. I can't get enough of how much a lot of these people, especially the females, big shout out to the women of NXT for strong work rates. That's a hard word to say fast. Work rates. They have very strong work rates, and the only thing they can do is keep going up from here. They're not going to be Bayley, Charlotte, not even Becky. Becky at that time was not blossoming enough. But they're not going to be Charlotte, Bayley, and Mercedes / Sasha Banks, but they are making their own trail, and I like that. I like it.
I think Thea, when she does get called up, is I do. I think NXT is a certain crowd, and the main roster's a certain crowd. So I don't know. Do you think she'd work on the main roster or not?
Who, Roxanne?
No, Thea.
Nah, for her to work on the main roster, she needs all of Chase U to go with her, or she can start hanging out with she needs a group to be with. So maybe Otis, Tozawa and Maxine, if that's still a group by the time she gets called up, she needs a group. She can't be by herself yet. It don't fit right.
I agree with that. Yeah, if she's on her own, she gets a couple of wins and then lost in the shuffle, probably. Like Kiana James, where's she gone?
Most women from NXT get lost in the shuffle, especially now because women's wrestling is so on fire. Like there was a point in time, and I know we're going off because we gotta rate NXT. But there was a point in time that women's wrestling was not respected. It was a bathroom break, right? And when Charlotte and them came up, it changed the game a little bit. It revitalized the women's division, and it was like, oh, what's this going on? And those same women start main eventing this and the third. I think Roxanne might do a good job when she gets the call up. I think she'd do a good job, but Thea not yet. She's not ready yet. She can't be by herself. Roxanne can be by herself because Roxanne gonna talk her shit, and then sadly get put down by somebody. Charlotte. Charlotte's gonna do it. Spoilers for people. I'm sorry. Sorry. When Charlotte come back, y'all, it's over.
I totally agree with WWE, the women's wrestling being a battle break. Just a match right off the top of my head. Was it the Playboy gown match at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Wednesday. That was super awful. Just put a mark in the wrestling predictions. Loves Tori Wilson, but whatever. So NXT, I will say a silver. Your rating?
Yep, I agree. Just a regular good old silver.
And very quickly, speed. Today's speeds are Walking Wild, Knockoff Axiom, Silver. Cool. Your rating?
Two cruisers that can really put on a good show. I mean, of course, I don't watch Speed. I can't grade it because I didn't see it, but I like the styles between the two of them. I want people to understand where I'm coming from. Two cruisers work well, right? But also a cruiser and a big person works well, right? But certain styles just don't work well. It all depends on who they are also in the ring too. So it's not just because of the style, but who they are in the ring.
You should definitely. Are you on X, Twitter?
I'm not on Twitter. I listen. When the last time I was on Twitter, it was 2011.
Wow.
Yeah. I created Twitter back in 2009 when I graduated from high school, man. Like, I listen. I already got Instagram. I got Facebook. I don't want no more than that, man. I don't want to jump down the social media rabbit hole. I know you probably only do it just for like X for speed or something, but that's
that's the main reason, really. Just there were a 3-minute, 4-minute match, and I just speed to the end just to see who won. It's like a minute to watch.
Good pun on words. He speeds through it.
The championship match, I might watch a little bit, but yeah, that's a great concept that works. There's no introductions, no entrances. It's straight into the action, fast paced. WWE get it, whereas AEW just doesn't. But one more ad, then we'll get into our final segment, and then we're done for tonight until tomorrow. But let me play this. To never miss a second, never miss an upload, never miss anything I do, and never miss when I go live doing watch parties and my brand new podcast. Live Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. The Reigning Rock Podcast. And me on Facebook, Ricky J. Pete. Whilst there, search on Facebook, WWA World Wrestling Alliance. Follow me on X at Ricky Dolmans. head over to Protein Tees and search Goldman's One, and head over to my YouTube channel. Search, like, and subscribe to the People's Wrestling Channel. That, once again, the People's Wrestling Channel. That is right. All my socials and me follow me, do all of that as we do our final segment here, which is got a little bit of news to talk about, but big news, so it, of course, is... Oh, I need to take that off. Give me a second. There we are. It, of course, is this. So news and headlines, we'll discuss it. It may or may not have happened, and that is the release of Omos. It depends what you read. He has been released, he hasn't. Let's go with he has. If he has, where do you see him going, Marcus? Anywhere or nowhere?
Because here's the thing: the market for a big man that can barely move in the ring is tough, right? It's a hard market for him. There's a chance that he just. I'd rather Omos work the independent circuits first. I want him to work the independents to get his marketability up, to get his in-ring work rate up, and to possibly make his return back to the WWE. I don't think he's gonna find a home. I think he's just gonna be independent for maybe a year or two until he feels like until Triple H sees that his work has gotten better, and he's like, all right, dude, come, we're gonna try this again.
Okay, I think he might just go in and do a quick squash match, splat. That's it. He's not one of those that works a long match. Just
yeah.
But he's had some big wins. I know he won at Mania 37. Didn't he not beat Lashley at 38? Or did Lashley win? I can't remember. I think he beat. I think he actually beat Lashley. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he beat Lashley. So it's not like Omos left the WWE without anything. I mean, Omos wasn't he a tag team champion? So like, cool.
Beat the New Day with Styles at Mania 37. So
that's not too bad for a guy that never really had no pro wrestling experience and was a basketball player and then got recruited to the Performance Center. And I think he can only go up from here.
And faced Brock Lesnar last year that he will have been happy with. He got squashed, but it's a massive payday in the production meeting. Do you want to work a match with Brock Lesnar? It's going to be a 2-minute, 5-minute match. I bet he said, damn right. Big money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of money, here it comes. The photo that's breaking the wrestling internet. Shane McMahon and Tony Khan have had a meeting. This could mean Shane McMahon goes to AEW. My opinion is, if he goes, this is what's going to happen. Tony Khan's a mark. So Shane knows nothing about the wrestling business. He'll wants to get himself over. He'll do some crazy stunt where he gets injured, and because Tony Khan's a mark, he'll let him do it. That's it. He's not changing the wrestling landscape. It's not The Rock going to AEW. It's Shane McMahon. Okay. Doesn't make AEW any bigger. WWE will always be the biggest company ever. So yeah, your thoughts, Marcus?
I feel like, I don't know, maybe in a way, I feel like the conversation's going in another direction. I feel like it's not to give Shane an opportunity to wrestle in AEW. God knows he shouldn't be doing that. I think low-key, Shane might be there as an agent to talk to Tony Khan about, listen, y'all, you see what we're doing with NXT? Maybe you should consider doing that with maybe SmackDown. That's more on your level. SmackDown, do something with AEW. Just like how we got something with TNA. I think it might be a forbidden door kind of thing, especially since the ship is kind of sinking over at AEW. So I think I think more so is it's a possible opening the door kind of thing versus Shane O'Mac showing up in AEW. Hashtag here comes the money? Question mark.
Like, for example, just scenario, Shane McMahon, Swerve Strickland there, a biggest show, which is a Wembley show. Who cares?
Nobody wants to see
What
that.
viewers did that pulling in? No.
I'm going to tell you who's going to pull in. The marks who are so marked that they're just going to mark out over the fact that it's Shane McMahon in AEW.
Shane isn't pulling any. No one knows Shane McMahon outside the wrestling world. I use this scenario frequently. You ask any random person to name a wrestler. You ask any random person to name 50 wrestlers. They ain't naming Shane McMahon. At all.
And that's why I said that's why I said the most marks of marks are going to mark out over that, because Shane McMahon's not pulling nobody. He's not pulling anyone that isn't into WWE, that isn't into wrestling to that match, to AEW. Nobody. No one cares.
It will pull in views if Shane McMahon is on Dynamite. That pulls in views. That's it. First Dynamite, maybe a second Dynamite, maybe. That's it. He'll be lost in the shuffle, just like Edge, just like Christian, just like Daniel Bryan. They'll get a 2 month push and then nothing.
Just like Adam Cole, baby.
Him as well. There's many names. I could probably go through the entire roster and say who's had it. The only two people that's had a better push since AEW existed than WWE, Tay Conti, definitely, and Sting. Everybody else, no.
And her push was mediocre. She had a mediocre push.
But at least she won gold, I suppose. She did nothing in WWE, so.
Yeah, that's true. Which is way crazy.
And Sting, definitely. But that's it.
Oh yeah. But Sting, I mean, it's Sting, dude. It's Sting! It's Sting! I mean, he was due that though. And I think, not to go on a tangent, but I think Sting knew WWE wasn't gonna do him right. I mean, there's a reason why he stayed away for over 10 years, right? Like, Sting is not a dummy. Steve Borden is not no dummy. He stayed away from WWE for a smart reason. He saw how some of his other older buddies, especially people like DDP, got done. And he saw how hard Booker T had to work to get to where he was at in WWE. So Sting was like, nah, I was in TNA for that long time and I made a big name for myself in that small company. There's no way you're going to do me like that. And guess what they did? They did him dirty. Because he was a WCW guy.
The Marks want to say John Moxley's had a better push from a WWE Intercontinental US Tag Team Champion, Money in the Bank winner, had a match it was a squash match, but a match with Brock Lesnar at Mania. He's not had a better push than in AEW. And he's won the AEW title 50 times. That's still not bigger than WWE.
I disagree. He's had a bigger push in AEW, but he didn't make more money. He didn't have bigger matches in AEW than WWE. WWE, he had bigger matches, but in AEW they pushed him more to be the top guy. Right, he's their backup guy whenever their guy goes down. They need him to be in the world title scene somewhere versus away from it. Because when he's away from it, it suffers. Right? Versus, WWE didn't need John Moxley. They don't need Dean Ambrose to be near the title, to be near the top title picture for WWE to succeed. They're gonna make their numbers anyway. AEW needs him. So yeah, the numbers make sense in AEW for why he's a top guy, for why he low-key is the top guy. Versus WWE, he could be in the mid card and WWE still be up here in the world, up in the heights. So yeah, he had a bigger push in AEW because they need him.
Very quickly before going to our big story here. And just want to quickly say this: AEW should be where TNA, Tony Khan should be wanting to work with WWE. You could have somebody like Ricky Starks on NXT. You could have Ricochet or Nakamura in AEW. They do a couple of matches. There you go. There's both companies working together. But the big story is possibly in 2 years, WrestleMania here in the UK in London. So that is massive news. Looks like it could very well be happening. Triple H and Nick Khan met with the Mayor of London. The Mayor of London said he will bring in a lot of money. He wants it to happen. So your thoughts if it does?
Whoo! You know, John Cena brought it up during Money in the Bank last year. I believe that's what it was. When because they had Money in the Bank in the UK, and he brought it up, and he was like, "Yo, why not WrestleMania over here?" And I think, honestly, I love the idea. Right? Think about SummerSlam '92, right? SummerSlam '92 at Wembley. How great was that, right? For the people that saw it, I'm sure that they was like, man, this is incredible, right? The crowd that Europe, I'm not just talking about the UK, but that Europe brings when WWE's in town. We saw Backlash. We saw how thunderous Backlash was. I mean, it made us fans in the United States mad jealous because it's like, yo, what the? Because what kind of reception? What kind of reception? And that's the same thing that the UK people did with Money in the Bank. It was like, yo, I mean, I get it. Like to us, this is like almost like everyday kind of thing because like WWE is a United States product and they're seeing it at a totally different time and place than we are. But when we say WWE is global, it really is very much a global entity that the large pops happen everywhere. And if WrestleMania gets to the UK, that's not going to stop it from going to France. It's not going to stop it from going to Australia. It's not going to stop it from going to Japan and other places. So I think it will be a beautiful thing if WWE does WrestleMania in the UK. The only issue I'm going to have with it is the same issue that I had with it when it was here in my hometown of Philadelphia.
Time limit?
The weather.
Time difference, sorry.
The weather. It's the weather. The weather here for WrestleMania, it was not favorable. Like Rhea and Becky had to tread very lightly because it lightly rained and it was bitterly cold that day.
Wembley has a roof, so they could, I would imagine they'll do it in. Well, English weather. April's meant to be nice. But I don't think it was this year. But they have got a roof just in case.
Okay, all right.
And the French crowd, they killed it. That felt like a Mania crowd. And they got it. They never get wrestling. Or they get it very rarely on a house show. They never get a pay-per-view. And they got it. So, and quickly going back to Money in the Bank, I was there and at Clash of the Castle. Money in the Bank was incredible. Cena, Reigns, Ronda, Trish, Logan. It was massive. So if we get a WrestleMania, I'll definitely be going.
As you should.
And I won't have to worry about traveling and probably get a hotel, but I won't have to worry about traveling. So very quickly, your YouTube, do you want to promote that again?
Yeah, listen, if you like random fun stuff, if you like hearing my voice, hit up the YouTube channel. Also, I'm trying to vlog more on my stories via Instagram. If you could pull that up for the people too, Ricky. I to be honest with y'all, I need to get more onto my YouTube content creation. I think the people, you guys help influence that by commenting on some of my old videos if it fits your niche. I do food, spirits, which is like wine, beer, and other things. I talk about skateboarding. I'm a big skateboard fan. I talk about college football. I even have a video talking about the difference between LTE versus 5G. It was just something that sparked the mind. So if you guys comment on the video, it influences me to want to do more content. Other than that, you can catch me on Instagram. Mark loves lemon pepper. Don't have to describe why I have that as an Instagram name. It's right there telling you I love lemon pepper, anything, to be honest with you. And I blog there a lot more often on my Instagram story. Once again, it's right down there for all the people. And honestly, Ricky, I need to get a shirt just like you, man. I think the catchphrase I just came up with today, before the like literally 5 seconds before the show, I need to put that on a damn shirt. Ching ching bling bling is always money over here. I need to make that a shirt. Put that on Pro Wrestling Tees or something.
I think one person has bought my T-shirt, but I'm not very successful. I'm no Young Bucks or anything like that.
Hey, listen, slow and steady wins the race. Listen, that's how it works. All right, slow and steady wins the race.
So you said you like wine and beer. Did you have real ale in America?
You said ginger ale?
Real ale, like real beer, I mean, tongue-tied, real beer, like that. This is obviously a UK brand, but it's Hobgoblin Session IPA. Do you get IPA over there?
Yeah, we have Indian Pale Ale over here. Yeah, it comes in different forms, hazies, double IPAs, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, so we have those. I preferably don't drink those because they all taste like crap to me. They don't taste that great. I'm here for the flavor. I'm not just here to be drinking. I'm here to see if it's flavorful and see if it's filling and nice. I've tried IPAs. There's a place called San Diego. They're like the kings of IPA beer, and I've had one over there, and I was like, yo, if y'all are drinking this for flavor, y'all should definitely throw it and yourselves in the trash because this is not it.
Fair enough. I like real ale IPA, but
hey, I think listen, not everything's for everybody,
Be a lot more inventive. You can have chocolate beer. You can have raspberry.
There actually is a chocolate beer. There is one. It's from a company called Yingling. They do a collaboration with Hershey, and it's actually pretty good. I like it actually.
I think I've actually had a chocolate beer, and you could taste the chocolate a little bit, and yeah, it is nice. Yes, like a dark beer.
Yeah, it's like a dunkel.
I don't know what that is, but
so a dunkel is dunkel is dark in German, so it's just a dark beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the Rock in German, or do you not know?
Oh no, I ain't that well versed in German. Yeah, I'm still learning German, man. Still learning.
I wanted to know what the Rock was in German.
It's probably das something. Das.
I'll Google it and acknowledge me. Also acknowledge me in German.
I'll have those two things for you tomorrow. Yeah. I'll have those two things. Yeah. I'll write them down.
I would love to learn another language, but it takes too much time.
It's fun, man. It's fun. You just gotta find a fun way of doing it. That's all. Duolingo is a fun way of learning another language. That's what I recommend.
I want to learn Samoan like my tribal chief.
That means you would want to learn Hawaiian, and they got Hawaiian on Duolingo. You should look up Duolingo.
Do you like a Hawaiian? Do you like a Hawaiian pizza?
Nah, pineapples don't belong on pizza. No.
Very, very true. Very true.
No, pineapple is separate. Whoa.
I don't want my.
Whoa.
One second. I don't want my dessert and my main meal at the same time.
Whoa. This man is like, yeah, you like pineapple? No, whoa! I don't want nothing that I can eat for breakfast or for a snack on something that I might eat cold for breakfast or as a dinner food. We're not doing that. No way, Jose. No. Oh my gosh, no, not a pineapple pizza.
Is it where?
Like the people that do. Hey, if you do, shout out to you, but. No, not me. I don't mess with that stuff. 9. Don't give me that.
Put it away. Put it in the bin. Put it in the bin in England. Trash in America. Put it in there.
No, never.
So, nearly 3 hours. Join us tomorrow. SummerSlam predictions. Marcus, TJ, and Byron will be joining us for SummerSlam predictions. 7 matches on the card, as well as the Miz hosting and Jelly Roll performing, and the return of the GOAT. That's all tomorrow.
If he comes, people. We don't know. We don't know if he's coming.
So, all
We don't
tomorrow.
know.
So, thank you, Marcus, for joining me.
Of course, man.
And as always, remember to acknowledge, electrify, like, and subscribe. And it is until tomorrow. Ricky Goldman out.